All right, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing this evening, or
Good.
morning, night, day, wherever you are? So I think this is episode 20. Yes, we got episode 20 of Corks and Crypto. We don't have Making Poor Decisions again this week. He is out on vacation, so he'll be back with us
Nice.
on next week, and we'll talk about wine features then. But we've got, we've got a great cast with us tonight. Of course, we always have Chris Cruz. So, Chris, welcome. Appreciate you being a part of this program. Crypto Pride is here with us.
Chocolate
What's up,
martini
Crypto
on
Pride?
stick.
You got your chocolate martini going.
Nice.
And we've got my pastor, Fowler, in the building. What's up, Fowler?
What's going on, guys? I'm waiting for my phone to charge up a little bit more because I use my phone as my camera. So I'm just waiting for it to charge up before I can turn it on. Because last thing you want is my camera go out.
Yeah, get you a camera, brother.
Yeah, I haven't really found anything other than what Greek got. Greeks has a good camera. I'm gonna ask him what camera to get. I know his is the actual like computer camera. I need to get one.
Yeah, I need to know what that is. I struggle.
You guys got these cameras. I just got the basic one I got for like $20.
I'm using my laptop camera.
Oh. Fowler's the
Yeah,
one
same.
that's all techie. He's
Yeah,
got
I'm trying to be fancy. You know me, fancy.
Got to stay on brand, right, Fowler?
Oh yeah, man! If you gonna go in, go big, baby.
There it
Go
is.
big or go home.
There it is. So I know, backstage we were giving Chris his props for how he moderates in this community, doing a fantastic job. So, Chris, we appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really thank you for what you guys are doing. And Fowler, the two of you, I got to give y'all a shout out on your Twitter Spaces, folks. If you haven't checked out Fowler and Chris's Twitter Spaces show, you're missing out. You're missing out on a treat.
X Spaces, man. X Spaces.
Just finished
Yeah.
one with Nick.
Yeah, I'm old, man. I can't get these names, man, but they're changing these names. I just got used to calling Twitter
Yeah,
instead of Twit. And now
Why they change the name?
I don't know. Now it's
Elon Musk, man. Come on, you know what that is. X Space. Come on.
He's obviously
SpaceX.
not thinking of me.
Yeah.
I thought it was
I totally forgot
extraterrestrial.
to change the name.
Extraterrestrial.
Yep.
Oh,
But no, as far as the spaces, man, that spaces is there for the community. Not only is it where you can, get up to date information, what's going on. Me, Chris, gonna be there, and we will usually try to get as many people as we can. Right now, Nick is hot. Nick comes on. He's willing to come out on anytime we invite him. So we try to, keep inviting him. Lending that hand out there so he can get in front of everybody and people really get to know who he is and see him talking. Not only that, his reach is reaching out to a lot of artists, a lot of people out there right now, and and they're seeing what he's doing or what he's about to partake in, and they're all for it because if he's talking a creator blockchain, and that's going to get all these creators that's out there, man. And let me tell you, he dropped some news. I don't know if you guys, I caught the scoop. I threw the question out there and I said, hey, are those two projects you got going on coming on the blockchain?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, it's sure. No problem. Come right over switch from me to whatever we call the blockchain.
or run them concurrently, he said.
Yeah. Concurrently. Yeah. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, big news right there, right?
Well, Fowler, there's more news on there. Well, remember when we talked about the rebranding part?
Oh, yeah. Totally forgot about that.
They come up with a name yet?
He said how much he's going to spend and everything, too.
Yeah. His plan to spend on the advertising was $10,000 to $15,000. He said it might be a little bit more and everything, but it's something that we have to do. He talked about the fact that he felt that we needed to replace the Discord. And I asked him, I pretty much asked him, I said, are we going to stay with the same platforms or what are we going to do? And he said he wanted to do it by a case basis platform, but we did get in the conversation about the Discord and he felt that it would be a good time to actually, Jamrock just keeps adding to that every day.
Right.
But it sounded like he was going to say that we're going to get a new Discord because he and what Fowler did he say that because he felt like there was a lot of bots in there.
He was worried about bots. He wanted to go to a fresh Discord. He even I made sure I asked myself about the moderation. He said, they're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be looking at people. They have ideas, and but he has a plan. I asked him about marketing. We asked about marketing. He was like, he doesn't have a concrete plan, but he has an idea what he wants to do, how he wants to do it, and also how he wants to interact with the community with it. So, and again, he's trying to build a creator blockchain here.
Oh, look at your picture.
And who else? Who else is to bring help with marketing and branding than the artists themselves? This is a community of artists.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, quick question, can you go back and hit and replay the Twitter? Is that available?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I caught bits and pieces of it. I was working and listening to it in the background, bits and parts. So yeah, it was a really, really, really good stream.
Yeah, definitely pull it up. I mean, we were on there for how long, Chris, before Nick came on?
Maybe... it was probably to the T because when I talked to him, he said that he could probably be on there by 6:30, and I was like, okay. And then when we went on, we started at 6. Told the audience what we were talking about. We talked about Hex for a little bit and all that, and then we kept reminding them that Nick would be coming on probably after 6:30, and 6:28, 6:29 comes around, and bam, there he is. So I mean, I thought it was very
it was jam packed full of information the whole way through.
The whole time.
I mean, like I said, there was no fluff, there was no talk. We initially the show was supposed to be about is DeFi dead and scammers and stuff like that. We only got I swear 30 minutes of that, and the rest was Nick and nothing but pure energy and information, man. Good energy and information.
Yeah, it was worth to listen to. I mean, and you could just put it on in the background or whatever, but it is it's fantastic. Actually, I had a good time, and we had a few questions and everything, and we had a few people talking. And I tend to run off at the mouth a little bit. So I was like, shut up quite a bit. So we got more of Nick than less of me.
Yeah, I think I asked him about the existing projects. I think that was, he had said it once before, but he had said that, the grant money was going to be baked in with the money that's raised and everything. But this answer about the existing projects and ongoing support, it was a lot more detailed, a lot more flushed out. I actually felt, because you guys know I'm trying to start up the Guys and Gaming project on this blockchain in a somewhat capacity, and it's like to now know that there's some support. We actually think about us, the blockchain actually think about us now and guide us, right? Because that's pretty much what we wanted. We have the ideas, we have the what we want to see, but we need help, right? We need support. We need give us a little hand here, and that's what we didn't. That's definitely wasn't what we were getting before all this. So, like I said, the spaces. I mean, if you guys want to pull it up, that'd be great. I mean, but if you guys want to talk about anything else, that's cool too. But I'm just saying, guys, you got to listen to Spaces whenever you get a chance. If you haven't heard it, because it's definitely worth the listen to.
Yeah, it definitely is. And if I understand correctly, Nick has an invite to the show, and he may join us tonight, right?
Yes, that's what he said.
It's a possibility. I know he's busy, so
right.
He's been on quite a few streams today. So he may not join us, but if he gets an opportunity, I mean, if he doesn't get the opportunity, maybe then we could pull up at the stream and listen to the feed of the talk that y'all had a few moments ago.
Yeah, I think he's more likely to show up. I don't think too many times he's told us that he's gonna come and ain't showed up. So, but I mean, again, that Spaces is definitely a listen to if you want to hear about where the direction of Nick's thinking is, I think that is the best spaces you can check out to get in his head. Because he was really showing you a direction right there. And I'm telling you, like I said on the space, I believe that's a multi-billion-dollar. Before he got on, I said his direction and what he's trying to, where he's aiming with these artists and these creators in the coming future. I think that is just as good as gaming to me. Like that is the next thing over, multi-billion-dollar industry. That would be it.
Yeah, we've got a comment here. This appears to be a perfect storm of Nick finding a niche to create an opportunity, and the investors' needs all combined for success. I agree, and that was one of the things I was looking for is to revive this project. It's a Herculean task, but it can be done. One of the things is having the opportunity to have something that's different in the space. Having that niche that separates us, and and not a gimmicky niche either, right? Like what we had before. So I'm hopeful that things will work out to our benefit long term. And it could be better than what we started with and beyond our expectation of what we were sold the first time. So I'm looking forward to what's to become. So do you all have any updates on the voting situation? Because that's one of the things that I didn't really want to bother Nick with that. I know he's been communicating a ton.
It's supposed to be Sunday, right?
Did you guys, are you talking about voting?
Yeah.
So have we heard anything on that?
It's all in the Twitter, the X space.
Okay.
I asked him about the voting part, and I asked him what kind of time frame he was thinking. He's talked about 72 hours, and he was he's working on it tonight. He's going to do some testing on it, and then hopefully he was saying that it might be able to be released tomorrow.
Okay.
But he was also going to make another sheet for full node and light node owners to see what they would make and stuff like that. So that was one of the things he was working on tonight. The voting running for about 72 hours. And then I asked him about, would it be like real time? Would we, be able to see it? He said that during the voting, it would be just how many votes there have been, not whether yes or no or anything. And that it would be something that once it was done, you could see all the wallets and how they voted and everything, but after it was finished. But that's what he talked about. That's what he wanted to do. So I would say that it maybe, if not tomorrow, maybe by Thursday. And then I asked him if once he was done with when the vote was done, would he do some type of AMA, maybe with the team or something like that? He talked about, kind of making those plans as to what he was going to do. And then that led into the platforms we have, like the YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff. Are we keeping those? They're going to be rebranded. What they're going to do? But that was the gist of it, and that I think that's pretty much what everybody was wanting to know. But his point was that he wanted to make sure it ran for like something like 72 hours.
Okay, cool. And we do have a comment from Robert Doucette. There's a new legend genius in town. I personally think the sky's the limit on this new blockchain. Amen. So yeah, I think it's definitely shaping up. It's good to have a plan, and it sounds really nice, and credible. It's not. It doesn't sound over the top. It sounds really reasonable, and Nick is very careful as far as what I've read in his update on even the rebases, right? It's performance based. So if the blockchain, if we don't get the transactions that we're that's needed to generate a rebase, we just won't get one. And I'm okay with that, because that means there's a better likelihood for longevity, right? So
Actually,
I do have some questions though for you guys. I want to know if here's the question that I have on the rebase part, and it's the epoch. So are the epochs like 24 hours? Or the rebases every 24 hours? Like, you're not getting a rebase every 15 minutes, but it's every 24 hours. Is that how that reads now?
I thought it was transactions or something.
Say again?
I thought it was by so many transactions.
I thought it was every 15 minutes, unless they changed it.
No, I think it's every transaction. We'd have to get
Every transaction,
clarification.
because that was the question that I had. I didn't quite understand that in the reading of the presentation, in the reading of the PDF.
Mela, let me interrupt you real quick.
Sure.
The X space that you sent out, it doesn't work. I went to ours and got it. They told me in the chat that didn't work. I can't put it on your YouTube, but I put it in the private chat if you want to put it on all of them.
Thank you. I'll
But
grab that.
the second link that I put out there, Ashley said that the link didn't work. I copied your link, but then the second one I put out, Tina said that it did work. So transaction triggers is what Sky High says.
Transaction triggers. Okay. So it's based on transaction triggers. So when we meet the transaction target, that triggers the rebase. Is that correct?
Yep. That's my understanding is.
So in that event, then, if we double our transaction trigger in a 24-hour period, that's 2 rebases for that day?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So cool. So thanks for that. Cool. So have you all seen or heard about the situation with Richard Hart?
That's what Fowler and I started off the X space for it. I see I'm already saying it right. It was kind of easy. So, yeah, we were talking about that, and there was an X space. So, hey, look at me getting good already. X space earlier today with a bunch of people on talking about it, and
yeah, I caught some of that X space as well. I got to get used to the terminology, but this I wanted to kind of cover just a little bit because this is the part that caught my attention. You know, it's the use of investor funds to purchase luxury goods, right? And we know of a certain individual that used, allegedly.
Yeah, just like Brian Legend, same one, same people.
Oh man, same playbook, everything down to the T. Wash trading, the inflation of the sacrifice and stuff, all that stuff, man. Same playbook. You damn near thought they were talking.
Richard Hart was wash trading.
So that's if you look at some of this stuff, they got to break. If there's a tweet out there, it's on my Twitter. A guy has the same breakdown like the BrewFi guys, as far as like the wallets and all that stuff. They got a whole little map and everything.
Wow. He bought for a Ferrari, a McLaren.
I
Rolex watch.
My thing was that I don't think that, and I think some of the people that were in our X space might have picked up on it, but I don't think that people understand. And I don't know if this is where you were going with this, Mel, but I don't think people in our community understand the gravity of this situation with Richard Hart.
I don't think they do. I mean, and that's why I want to bring it up because, if you feel like you've been wronged, I mean, there are things that you can do. There are ways that you can communicate that, and it doesn't cost you a dime.
Well, Richard Hart, here's the gist of the case, though, with Richard Hart, okay? They're saying that he used funds inappropriately and all that. And he used the word sacrifice. So when they were doing the blockchain and everything like that, they sacrificed their funds. So the key to it is that the SEC, if they can prove that by sacrificing, people expected monetary gain from their sacrifice, it wasn't just like a donation to Richard Hart to build his blockchain. And that's the issue that they have. So if the SEC can make this case even remotely close, everybody in the Vulcan community sacrificed with the expectation of a monetary gain.
Yeah, you can find most of those in the BrewFi. That's the thing with these Hexagon guys. They swear they're like this tight cult up group with basically no one was expecting any gains. I find that very hard to believe, and they were in the USA. I find this both of those things hard to believe at the same time. So if they come and look at the same situation over here, you think they're gonna find people that weren't expecting gain sacrificing into Vulcan? Come on.
I won't be surprised if we see some money pop up now.
Well, I mean, if you look at Brian Legend and you look at his history, and the words he used and the
Yeah.
silly gimmick things that he bought and stuff like that, he's like a carbon copy of Richard Hart.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is, I just don't think that I think that people are sitting around going, you know what? I know our community's been wanting some justice and everything like that. And if we just let things roll, we're going to have ourselves a really awesome blockchain in the next few months. And we're all going to be going, okay, this is going in the right direction, feeling good about ourselves. And without really doing anything, but just trusting and having faith that something's going to happen, Brian might be right next to Richard Hart real soon without us doing anything extra. But I mean, I don't say that we should sit on our hands about it. We should really follow up and everything like that. But the way things are shaping out, it seems like we're going to have a really solid blockchain, and Brian's going to get his.
So Local Loop has a question. If someone could post the link to Nick's rebase calculator. I put it on my stream. I don't know if this translates over to the rest of you all's, but if you all can share
I didn't set up my destination, so it doesn't go to mine. I will copy it from yours and go to mine.
All right.
Mel, I sent you a link on a private chat for that Twitter post.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I see it.
Pull it up. Oh, this is
that. I don't think that's right for me.
So yeah, I'll pull that up. But
folks, that's not it.
Yeah, I think the former guy, I think that's the terminology that's being used nowadays. His days are numbered.
Mm-hmm.
His days are numbered.
That's why I say, well, don't be surprised you see some money pop up from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
His days are numbered. So
what you mean? What money take?
Yeah, right. It's right here. I bought it back. I took it off. I just took it off of Gate.io and bought it back.
It was a test of loyalty, right?
Test of loyalty.
It was a test of loyalty. So okay, so is this the tweet that you're referring to? Okay, now that it's X, are these still considered tweets?
Right.
Good question.
No, it is, because I accidentally during the space I hit something and it bring up and said, like, you want to tweet this? I was like, what the hell was that? And I took it off.
Do you want to X this?
Right.
No, I don't want to X this.
If you make a post, if you hit the post button, I think it actually says a tweet or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it still has tweet
yeah.
here. So
yeah, see?
Tweet still a thing.
Yeah.
But
maybe
Twitter
just doing it as a practice to see if people accept it or not. Like a promo thing. Who knows?
So, all right.
Oh boy, here we go.
Wow. Can I pull this up? Can this expand?
Yeah, it's looking better. Yeah, it's still hard to see though.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get that tweet myself and go look at it.
Yeah, you probably have to. Let's try one more thing here.
Well, if you take the tweet and you put it up, you can advance the screen. I got it maximized on my screen.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
You want me to?
Yep.
You want to see if this one's bigger?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's try that. And we can go full screen with it, right?
Oh, it's going backwards now. I think that's as far as I can get it. It's maxed out on my screen. It's in huge words.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, this is over my head.
Yeah, I don't know how to expand it any further. This is full screen on my side, or at least so it says.
Oh, this doesn't seem like this is right.
I'm sorry, I got you the wrong one.
I'm like, this is a totally different.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's right here. Pasting it right now. Hold on. I got it wrong. The second way. That goes directly.
All right.
Yeah, that goes directly to the Richard Hart name.
Oh, here you go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Melly, you just might want to bring it up. It looks like it's all kinds of, it shows the blockchain. Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna pull it up.
There's a
So it's the second one that you just
Yeah,
posted,
the
Fowler?
second link in the private chat.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I mean, he's already. Let's see. So yeah, Brian, that's what definitely he had to worry about because yes, he has served U.S. Citizens. The funny thing is that he used to brag about that actually.
Is his name Richard Saylor?
no.
His
What
real
did they
name?
say his real name was? Something.
Go back
totally
up. Go back up. It said Richard Schuler.
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 So that's even close, huh?
Yeah, it's Richard Schuler. So,
Yeah, if you look at the chart, when you get down a little bit farther, you're going to see a chart that just looks eerie, similar to what Brewfied had.
Mm-hmm.
Look right there. They look at now. Start looking at those. It's like, and actually, there's probably a better one. 2 more down. That's 2 slides, but if you go down just maybe 2 more, 1 more, look at that. That's
Crazy.
Like, oh my Lord!
wow.
What do we have here?
Wow.
Richard Hart was the original set of Bit Exchange.
So this guy was wash trading too.
Oh yeah, man. This is like it's like a playbook out there or something, man. They all just fall in the same playbook. And they've been falling to sleep. I don't know if the shitty Louis Vuitton clothing is in there too, but as you can see.
So Marshall Holder of Node is asking, has anyone talked to Saeed or Dio? Any of you guys talked to either of them?
No.
I think Dio's kind of like moved on, and no one's ever said anything about Saeed. I'm still curious. I'm actually still curious how he feels about all this.
So Local Loop saying, thank God I put my retirement money on this. DL should do right putting money back into the blockchain. Ooh, that's a tough one. If yeah, I can't. Hopefully things turn around. I'll put it that way. I hope things turn around.
It sounds like there's going to be a house that's going to be up for sale soon.
Yeah, we might.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we'll get.
I went to Australia's version of Realtor.com to see if that house
His house will sale.
It's not. Not yet.
Well, if they do seize it, man, at least we'll know we'll get some money injected in the blockchain later on in life.
That's for sure. Yeah. That's for sure. Kuro Kimmy's got a question here. Did you guys hear in the Twitter space with Nick earlier that if we move to a POS consensus, anyone would be able to stake their coins and become a validator node? Not good news for current full node holders. I didn't hear that. But that's something that, I'd be interested in knowing more about. Now,
the important thing about that is he was talking about that would have to be a vote from the DAO. Not one person could make that decision.
Yeah.
So that's what he was saying, that we create a DAO, and if that's what the DAO voted on and they brought it forth, they voted on it, we'd have to do it, but it couldn't be something that he would just be him doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd also like to get a better understanding of what, if any, type of revenue full nodes would generate, because not all of the nodes are going to be active as we go through this phased approach to get to mainnet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe that's what he's working on with the spreadsheet that he's doing tonight, perhaps. So I'll hold my questions until I see that, but that's one that's been top of mind for me, node related. So let's see. Mark Spittler, BL is dead meat hanging over a fire. Now I'm going to ask this. DP is also playing with fire, and because I don't want any more harm, he needs to learn what actions are lawful. He will disagree. I think, I actually shared an idea with Miss Worldwide earlier today on my thoughts, should that team decide to go that direction. But I think that Daniel's heart is in the right place. I think the execution may need a little bit of work, and to include the timing of it all. But I think he's paying attention. He's got to be paying attention. I mean, the guy is paid for 2 audits, right? So he's trying to, dot his I's and cross his T's with this thing. So, hopefully he's getting proper guidance and counsel to avoid any type of legal situation.
Definitely.
I wish him the best on that.
I mean, and I think that he'll be very open to it because of the fact that, I mean, unless he gets crazy counseling, but a lot of people out there, I would think that who he would confide in would want to help him. So,
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think people want him to be successful. It's just, it's just, I still kind of question the timing of it all. I don't think it's malicious necessarily. At one point I thought it was, but, I'm kind of backing off of that. But yeah, I don't think it's malicious. It's just, it is what it is. But yeah, I wish him the best, and I don't think he's doing anything out of try to harm others. I just hope he takes the counsel that's being provided to him to make sure that doesn't happen or limited as much as possible. And Bob Bobo saying that would be if delegated proof of stake, classic proof of stake doesn't work the same. And I think this is related to the question about the nodes moving to POS consensus. If I got that right.
Yeah, I would just anything that Bob says, I listen to. That's how I I roll.
Bob's my guy when it comes to nodes. If he doesn't know that already. So yeah, and he's got a follow up. So they Vulcan also staked the foundation coins with people who bought full nodes to bootstrap them to help those who didn't buy to solidify their spot in the set.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, so it's not. I mean, if we go to that's not so bad for the node holders, from what the other comment was, right?
That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting from that.
Okay.
I want to know what happens to the people that sacrifice for Uxie. What's going to go with that?
Well, I think Nick is working on that's one of the tasks that Nick's working on, right? Is he's working on a plan to address Uxie, as I understood it. I don't know what he can do, but I think he's working on a plan. He's working on a plan. And since we're kind of on we're kind of on this topic of the root of how we got here and where we are right now. And I kind of shared this with some folks earlier backstage. This is something I'm working on for another video that I'm doing. And I really never thought about looking at it this way. And this is just a timeline of, this is a random guy here among some rugs here, likes to take showers and step out on his bath rugs over here. But it's a series of projects and, activities that this certain individual has been involved in. And it spans, at least based on what I could find online, going on, this is what, 8, almost 9 years perhaps, right? And there's some gaps here. Like we don't have 2016. We don't have 2000. We don't have
2020.
We don't have 2020. But yeah, there's some situations here that
Mela, you see
this guy's
down below,
be challenged. And we've got a special guest, so I'm going to pull this off, and we're going to welcome Nick to the stream. Welcome, Nick. How are you, sir?
Hello, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome to the stream. Thanks for jumping on. I caught the very end of you all's X Spaces conversation, so that was really cool, and appreciate your availability. Just being available and being able to communicate with folks and answer questions is awesome. I really appreciate that.
I'm just here to make sure that everyone is well informed. Transparency is very important to me, and being open and candid and honest. And so I'm making myself available to answer questions in every forum possible, so people can have their say and give their feedback, and also get to know me a little bit.
Cool deal. So I know, Chris, we were talking earlier, and you had some questions. So I guess we'll just start with you. So what questions did you have for Nick, since we've got him on?
Well, and Nick has answered most of the questions that I've come up with, but some of the exciting things that Nick talked about, and like I said, I recommend listening to that X Space. But Nick talked about a plan for the voting. He's going to be testing it later today. Hopefully, it comes out tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. He's working on a sheet for calculating full nodes and light nodes, and that's another thing he's working on tonight. I guess he just never sleeps, but we're just going to assume that he's a robot. So, and then he talked about the voting process being something that would be 72 hours, and that it would be, you could see what the what the total amount voted, but you wouldn't be able to see whether it was yes or no. But once it was finished, you could actually see the full results and all that. Um, but one of the things that, I mean, there's other things he talked about, and I'm sure he'll have things that he'll want to talk about. But one of the things that I really found very interesting, was very excited, and I actually think that I could see Fowler smiling through the X space when he was talking about this, was his poet, his proof of
engagement
token.
Yeah.
And that is something that, me personally, other people might have other questions, and I guess we'll bring those up and everything. But that is one of the things that I wish more people would be able to have heard it. And if you have something else to talk about, Nick, that's fine. But I would like to hear like your little synopsis that you did on the X Space again. I thought it was spectacular, and a lot of people didn't get to hear that. So
Yeah, I second that, because that poet token, man, that, like, I lit up. I was like, I got so many use cases for that. My mind almost exploded.
I actually think I saw it in the X Space. I was like, oh, is he okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I caught the tail end of that. So yeah, Nick, it would be awesome if you could elaborate.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we got a lot of things planned. Been documented a lot of it, but specifically POET stands for Proof of Engagement Token. You probably heard of POAP. The POAP token is essentially proof of access protocol. So POET is a variant of that. And the scenario where it's used is if you have any kind of event, any kind of live stream like this, any kind of curriculum, education, etc. What you do is people who attend, after they are done, they get a token, and that token could potentially unlock additional things for them, value-added benefits, etc. Or it could be used where if you have attended n number of sessions, etc., then you get more privileges or something like that. So it's the Web3 variant of your sort of loyalty card, if you will, where you get things punched. That's one thing. Or it's also you went to a conference and you got a little tchotchke or something, a proof that you actually went there. It's the digital version of that, and it's on blockchain. And the advantage of having it on blockchain is that other people can then verify it and can potentially look at different things you've done as a combination and say, okay, if you've been to this conference and this conference and this conference, we're going to give you a free pass to our conference, and so on and so forth, right? So from a marketing standpoint and from a brand loyalty standpoint, whether you're an individual or you're a company, you can do some amazing things with it, including things like educational curriculum, etc. Like for live streams, it's great. If you've attended, then at the end of it or something, you post I see your QR code there. You could have a QR code, so only the people who are in attendance can take a picture and get the token, because the QR code would expire as soon as the stream ended. So that way, only the people who showed up live could get the token and things like that. So there's lots of interesting possibilities we can do with that, and that will go active right when mainnet goes active.
That's fascinating
Nice.
stuff. And Fowler, you were talking about gaming, right? You were talking about
So I can't give it the whole idea. I know that's like my biggest like thing. You guys be like, shut up, Fowler. Like, so I can only say that, with Poet, that could set up a lot for the gaming industry. I mean, I'm talking about video gaming industry. That you can do a lot with a Poet system like that. That is great.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
sounds really, really nice. Really excited about that.
I am too. I'm very excited.
Let's see, Mela. I have. I'm looking at some of the chats for any kind of questions, and I'm just starring them. So I don't know if you want to bring them up in any kind of order or anything like that, or if you
Okay,
have
yeah, I
questions
just saw
personally
that you
that.
started starring them. I'm kind of scrolling back up and make sure I didn't miss any, but we've got one from Chevy. Here's his Nick. Could we look at a group discount for full nodes in order to reduce monthly running cost initially, which may create more room for light node backers percentage to increase? And here you may have some connections.
Yeah, so I guess what we're talking about here is either Azure or Google Cloud or
Mhm.
CloudFront or those kind of hosting providers. Yeah, I don't see any reason why we couldn't talk to them and get some kind of group deal done. I will make a note of that and look into it. So group discount for notes. Now, we already know that Google is offering a few things like that. But one of the things I'm a bit wary of is making sure that we are truly decentralized and not, all the nodes end up on Google Cloud. That's not truly
Right.
decentralized. We want it to be distributed around the world as much as possible. So yeah, but I will definitely look into that and give people some options on it.
Yeah,
Nick
thanks for
and
that answer, because I was going to ask, what about decentralization? So you just covered that. And I work in IT in some capacity, and I know AWS. We had a cloud outage on Friday that kind of impacted some of our customers. So yeah, you don't want all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely, yeah.
You want to be
Yeah,
spread across.
I mean, there's a bunch of reputable cloud providers. There's DigitalOcean, so there's quite a few. And if we go to different availability zones, then that makes it even more redundant. So that's good.
Yep.
Nick, did you? We touched on it in the X space. Do you? Would you want to touch on what we talked about the social media platforms and any of the ideas that you had to any changes that you would might make to either of them and the idea of maybe the Discord, how you were thinking about that?
Yeah, sure. So um, when we rebrand, we are obviously going to for every platform. Do what's necessary there. Discord being the most important one, I can tell you that I'm not confident. In fact, I have very little confidence that the current Discord server is not just a bunch of bots. I don't know that there's as many people as there
Yeah.
are users there. So I would like to basically start from scratch. It's a link away, right? Like so, yeah. And we've also I basically asked them to remove all moderators right now. So it's nothing personal against any moderator. I just don't know who are real and who are there with an agenda, etc. So I just want to go through the process of vetting everyone and making sure that they are in fact genuinely interested in the future success of this community. And if they are, then they are welcome to continue their moderation roles. But if they are not, I wish them good luck in their future endeavors.
Yeah,
And one of the other things we talked about the budget for the rebranding and the naming and how you
Yeah.
it was asked about the fact if you were going to announce any of the names and everything and your reasoning why people may have the same question.
Yeah, so rebranding is very challenging right now because of the fact that people are have the motivation to go squat in
Yeah.
order to make some money, and so it works against us if we kind of try, publish that, etc. So I would personally love for there to be a public forum and all that about it, but I feel like there's much more strategically important things that we could be voting on than the name. At the end of the day, if we have a good product. If you have a decent name, it'll be fine. So I feel like that's going to be sort of an internal decision that hopefully you can trust will be a good one
This
because
is gonna
we
be
do take that seriously.
nifty blockchain, right?
Uh, let me tell you this, right? When you have a brand name, you got to speak to your audience, not right. And the audience is not necessarily us who are already in the community. Like we are already there. We got to speak to the people who we want to bring. That's an important thing, right? So I feel like it's got to be something that is not just so heavily tech oriented that it's a turn off for people who are not into blockchain and all that. One of the biggest sins of blockchain has been the jargon. We have so much jargon that it completely alienates people, and we don't want that. We want more people to come on Web3, and so we need to make it gentler and kinder and easier to understand. But yeah, I think if we publish beforehand, everyone will go and immediately squat, and then it'll be a nightmare for us to try and get this going. So,
Yeah.
but you'll hear about that very, very soon.
So
And,
Nick, we've got a couple of points
okay.
here on full nodes that I want to bring up. So AA has got a comment here that full node holders are not in agreement with reducing splits. Leave the setup as is. It is with incentives pools for light nodes. Full node paid more upfront, operational costs, virtual machines paid, KYC, etc.
I agree with that. I think what we need to do is make sure that each constituent has what they believed was the deal they were getting, and it's my job to figure out how to make that happen. I don't believe that there should be a gas split, but I do believe that light nodes should be able to get more incentive beyond the sacrificers. So I have committed multiple times now that tonight is my worksheet night to work on that model. I'll get it done and I'll share it with people, and hopefully everyone will be happy.
Okay, appreciate that. And Big OD's got a comment here. I think the uncertainty around full nodes is due to the cost of hosting and want some sense of the income possible to cover those costs and make some profit. And your spreadsheet that you're working on will help get a better understanding of that, correct?
Yeah, already the spreadsheet I published last night should have given you some insight into that, because prior to this plan I floated, uh, there was a lot of ambiguity. You didn't know exactly how much income, incentive income, or anything you could make. Last night, I basically published how the 5.625 million coins, which would rebase also, would be available to people. So that's money in your pocket. It's just a question of how quickly you're going to get it, right? So that's one thing. And what I want to do is to, through this worksheet, demonstrate to you what you could have gotten, what you're getting now, so people understand that to a large extent, I've already answered the question, but I'm willing to take a second look at it again and make sure that, belt and suspenders. Like it's really, really good. So I will do that also, and specifically emphasize both the node classes.
Okay, great. Thank you for answering that. And as a node holder, I'm definitely interested in learning more about that myself.
Well,
We've
let
got
me ask you a
another.
question,
Sure.
if I may. Um, to date, like let's say that I didn't exist, I didn't have this plan, etc. How did you project what your income would have been?
Well,
Yeah,
originally it's
well,
been
to date, before all the madness occurred, I'll put it that way. I was leveraging the tools that were on the Vulcan website.
right the calculator,
That's
the
all
no
I had
calculator.
to reference. That's all the reference I had to go by. Now, me being who I am, I kind of I was very conservative with the amount of volume and traffic that I thought the blockchain would see. But that was my basis, was the Vulcan blockchain calculator.
So what was, like, even in your conservative model, what was the transaction volume, and how did you use an average, a median, a mean amount for the transaction?
I used I didn't do median, but I did use a mean, and I looked at volumes for chains that had recently launched.
Hmm.
And that's kind of how I kind of came about in some of my personal
Yeah,
calculations. Now, these are not things that I shared on video streams or anything like that, because I won't want to steer someone in a certain
sure.
direction. But these are the kind of things that I just kept in my back pocket.
Yeah. Are you willing to reveal like what an average transaction was like, or a mean transaction? Like, was it $10, $50? I mean, tokens, 50, 100. What
I,
was?
I did it on a monthly, and I have to go back and pull it up, but
Yeah.
I've kind of removed those numbers from my mind now with recent events.
Yeah.
But I was looking at averaging, just based on the calculations that I did. I was looking at about as far as dollars in basing that on a $9 cost uh, per coin.
Yeah.
I was looking at about $3,500 a month in full node revenue.
Yeah.
Which, that is not. I don't see that happening in today's climate. But that was the figure that I kind of had in my back pocket.
Yeah. The challenge, though, is in figuring or in computing that is in the previous model, it was 1% of the transaction amount. So first of all, you have to assume a number of transactions. Then you have to assume a mean or a median amount per transaction. Then you have to take 1% of that, right? And so it was kind of it's all a bunch of assumptions. And
I agree with you there. It was full of assumptions.
Yeah, and
Full
the
of
immortal words of in the long kiss goodnight, when you have an assumption, you make an ass out of you and umption. So
right.
so that's the challenge. Like, we can make up these spreadsheets and make these models, but at the end of the day, the reality is that unless we have a compelling reason for people to transact on the blockchain, they're not going to do it. You're not going to have this blockchain just be you and me and others passing money back and forth to each other. There's no value being generated there at all, right? So that was what was. This is why I think it's important for people to understand that this strategic plan is not about me or this transition about leadership or whatever. It's about making this blockchain have value. If it has no value, it doesn't matter what numbers we come up with. People are not going to use it. We need other people to come and build apps on it that generate transactional volumes, and not just people passing money back and forth.
I agree with you 100%. So, that's why I mentioned before, I wasn't interested in opening up a calculator, going on screen and showing, hey, this is what I think I'm going to get. Because it's all guesses. It's all assumptions, to your point. Yeah. But we do have a few questions, and they're coming in, and I want to make sure we get to those.
Yes.
So we've got Marshall, holder of node, here saying, how can we position to be, one, a store of value? You just kind of talked about that, with rebasing as the incentive. Two, the functionality of ETH. And three, the cost of Avalanche. If we cover these in our ecosystem, we'll be very appealing.
Yeah, and I would add a fourth there. We need to have a niche audience that we appeal to so that we can market and brand and target that. And that's exactly what I'm doing in the plan, is essentially saying to all the people in a certain ecosystem, which, by the way, is a very large ecosystem, artists, musicians, movie makers, etc., that this is the blockchain for you. We are going to do everything from the base protocol level and at the ecosystem level through incentives, through grants, etc., to make it easy for you guys to come on and start embracing Web3. We've already got some of the gas costs and all of those boxes checked. Like, we have low gas costs, etc. So we remove that. We have a very good check mark in that we are 100% EVM compatible. EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine. So if you've got an app running on Ethereum today, come on over. Just port it over as is. You don't have to make a single change. And you could have a brand new ecosystem that we could bring up around it. So games, gaming is big, right? So we could do that.
Okay, cool. And Bob's got a question here. So what happens if someone can't operate their validator? Those coins are allocated no matter their performance, i.e. missed blocks, jailed, shut down.
No. So you need to look at two separate things. The validators paid, and they got vol tokens as part of their sort of acquisition of that node, right? So those are just tokens, and those are going to be eligible for incentives just like sacrificers, etc. the income for node operators is going to happen if their node is running and they are mining blocks. If you're not mining blocks, you're not getting income.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I mean, I was a deafening silence there.
Nick, you were talking over my head. You were talking over my head.
Sounds like proof of work to me, but I mean,
no.
Same way.
It's proof of authority where you are getting paid when you mine the block, right? Proof of work is about solving irrelevant problems that have complexity in order to essentially prove that the mining power exists. Proof of authority is different. Like it's kind of like proof of stake, except that you don't have to stake anything. You're essentially validated to be on there. But the blocks you mine are the ones that pay. You get the gas from that one, right? And it's round robin. So each validator has their turn to mine blocks. They get paid for them. Next validator, they get paid for them, and so on. So if you're shut down, you're not mining anything, and so you're not getting that income.
Can we jump to Bob? Just put a follow up.
Yeah.
And before we go off the,
I think Bob should come on here because he's posting a lot of questions and you know.
Yeah, he's very informative. He's very knowledgeable. I mean, he's one of the people that, I mean, honestly, Nick, you and Bob talk over my head all the time, but he asked this question. I didn't want to move on to a different subject if there was still something that we needed to talk about there.
Is this the comment that you're referring to, Chris?
Yeah, that just popped up down there at the bottom. I didn't even start. I just
okay. Yeah.
There are no block rewards. That's correct.
Nope, there are no block rewards. Okay, well that I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to have to go back to that, but here's the one that you had up.
Okay, so yeah, and that's kind of what I figured based on what Nick described earlier, that there would not be any block rewards if your node is offline.
Yeah,
it's got to be online and managing block transactions in order to receive reward.
Right.
Exactly.
Tate Sonar here says, I know we have to claim incentive tokens when we choose to do so. Do we also have to claim rebases, or are they automatically sent to our wallets?
Yeah, so you have to understand that rebasing is part of the protocol. There's it's always, anytime anything is rebasing, it's always automated and it's always available. You have to do nothing. It doesn't matter what the use case is. Rebasing is always automatic.
Okay.
Hey Nick, is this still plans to do like the hackathon and stuff like that?
Yeah, so that's part of the ecosystem. We definitely want to retool that. But one of the things we found very quickly is that the developers didn't have a reason for building on our chain. What is the reason? Just rebasing isn't enough, which is why we've now changed our strategy to say, first, let's get the creators on here through NFT marketplaces, things like that, and get a good sort of quorum of them, if you will, and then the developers will follow. With the developer, we're also taking a different strategy. We are going to some of the conferences ETH conferences where the hackathons are already there and co-sponsoring them so that we can get developers, because they're already there. It's really, really hard to get developers to shift and come over. That's what we learned the hard way. And I don't want to repeat that mistake again.
Okay, so on the topic of nodes again, Bob's got one last question, he says here. So what are they mining if there are no block rewards?
They're mining the blocks. The blocks need to be added to mining is a generic ecosystem term that means adding blocks. So someone needs to essentially take all those transactions, package them up, and put them on the blockchain. All those transactions come with gas. So the validator that does that, they put the block on the blockchain. The other validators agree that it was correct, and the validator that put the block on there gets to keep
the rewards.
Gas reward. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So Sonny T's got a couple here. The first, or I think maybe this is a one comment in it or question in itself. It says, "Hi Nick, I was looking at your spreadsheet again. It includes rebases and incentives, right?"
Yeah, I made
and the rebases will not be vested, correct?
That's correct.
So we hit an epoch number and we get our whole rebase value.
That's correct.
Okay. Also, if we sell a percentage of our incentive, our percentage goes down. But then if someone sells a lot, we can basically build our percentage back up by others selling.
Yeah, it's always relative. It's always pro rata. So if you've sold and you've lost out a bit, but then more people sold, then yours will go back up again. Yeah, it's basically how should I put it? Um, you can think of it as a bunch of boxes, and someone lowers it, then they even out again, and that process continues. So I should probably make a simulation for that, but it's pro rata. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. But what the commenter said is correct.
Okay. So Biz Entertainment's got a comment and question here. So Nick, if we're trying to move from POS to POA, one, will this be set to a vote just by current node holders? Or two, how do those whom don't have the funds to compete with those fortunate to have money stay level?
Yep. All right. One of my highest priorities, as assuming there's a yes, is to write the ship in the correct direction. And that direction is a DAO. So we'll be setting up the DAO structure with the DAO councils, etc. I do not want for very long to have this core team sort of leadership thing. I want it to be as community centric as possible. So one of the councils we'll have is the one that has to decide on the move from if we do that proof of authority to proof of stake. It has to ask these questions, figure out what the plan is, what the strategy is, how it would be implemented, what the cost is, etc. So the council would do all of that. But I can tell you sitting right here that the easiest way to think about sort of parity in terms of wealth in that is look at Ethereum. Not everyone has 32 ETH sitting around in their wallet, but there's lots of people who are still participating in that ecosystem. How? Through staking pools. So people will create staking pools here also. So if you only have 0.25 ETH, you can also participate. But if someone's got, like, I'm not saying ours will be 32 ETH, I'm just comparing to Ethereum. So people who have the funds, they will be able to stake for the whole node. But those who don't have will participate in pools. And so everyone will be able to participate per their level.
Okay. Thanks for that. Great question, Biz, by the way. Traveler's got a question here. How long do you think we will rebase? It should take many years to hit 250 million coins.
Yeah. So if you look at the previous worksheet, which I don't think a lot of people did, there were 735,000 epochs, and we hit 375 billion coins in 21 years. That was fixed rebase at 15-minute approximate interval. Now, in this one, we have added a dampening system. The dampening system is the number of transactions that occur. So the trigger for a rebase is you hit the transaction threshold required for that epoch, and the number of transactions required increase by every epoch a little bit. Why? Because we want the blockchain to continue to deliver more value. And so when you have more transactions, more people are using it, right? So right now I have forecast the 250 million and projected it out at a five-year sort of window. We will only hit that 5-year window. So that's the minimum. It cannot go lower than that. It could go beyond that though. So if we have a blockchain that's very successful, we do everything, we check every box, and you got lots of activity, comparable to Avalanche. Avalanche is doing about 500,000 transactions per day right now. By year 5, that's our requirement. We should be doing 500,000 transactions per day. If we are doing that, the rebasing will be done in 5 years. If you're not doing that, it might be longer, but it's certainly not going to take like 20 years or whatever. My guess is at the most somewhere around 7 to 8 years.
Great. Yeah, appreciate your honesty and candor on that. We've got a couple of comments and we do have some questions, but Mars Bar is saying, hey, and happy to see Nick at the helm. I agree with you there. Sunny T, in your response to her question earlier, says, great, and thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you.
Jacko13 has, hey, Nick, thank you for coming on and talking as much as you've been. Also, thank you for taking on this ship sinking with no paddles. Yeah, that is awesome. So let's see, is this a comment or a question? So blockchain name suggestion. This is a blockchain name suggestion, and that is create chain. Not their idea, but the person also suggested create tech chain.
Wrote those down.
Sky High says, this is what we needed. I agree. Nick bringing clarity. Feel better about this every time he talks.
Thank you.
And Kuro Kimi, who would make up the council that would vote on the possibility of transitioning to POS? Will there be a way to apply for a seat at the table in the council?
I think so. I think, if you look at how typical DAOs work, it's like open source communities. First of all, it's not easy to get volunteers. So people who raise their hand, they're the ones who get first dibs at stuff. But just because you raise your hand doesn't mean you are qualified for it. So there's a vetting process that goes through to make sure that you have the necessary skills to be on there. But yeah, I think typically when you have a council, you have the open positions, the requirements for each open position, and then you have people apply. And then you go through sort of a qualification process, and the ones that go through the qualification process and are approved, they would become the council. So it's a very open and transparent process. Everyone can see what's happening, who's applied, what they've said, etc. There's nothing behind closed doors.
Okay, great. We've got Deep Blockhead here with a comment. Our clarification. He says, Nick, Bob is not asking why and how blocks are mined added. He's asking if, like many other chains, if there is a block reward added along with the transaction fee. But you're saying no rewards, just fees.
Yeah. So I was asked the question, are there rewards? And I said no. But this here is saying that what if we had that, which is a different question. And so then it requires some thought and requires some research, and it requires about what the technical implications of that are, and what the cap table implications of that are. But I think that's a good idea. So I will make a note of that and go talk to the tech team and see what they say about block rewards. And if they say, yes, it's feasible, then we have to sort of do a little bit of modeling around that and say, like, what would it be? How much would it be? What would the impact of that be on the overall tokenomics and things like that? But I will make a note and go do that.
Nick, I wanted to ask you a question. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I think it's important.
Hey, Chris, you always say that. You don't put me on the spot and then you put me on the spot. But I don't mind that, so it's cool.
I'm sorry, but I would hate to be like, I didn't ask you because, but there's a few people like Bob and pretty intelligent people that are in the Brewfied group. And they ask some good questions, and it seems like that group is softening to more of the idea of what you're trying to do and everything like that. Would you consider doing some type of a AMA with some of them on there, or going into the Discord, maybe doing a Discord type live or anything like that?
100%. Chris, I've maintained that my role here is to help this community, which is sort of been ripped apart almost, put it back together. And I don't come with an ego. I come with facts and a general desire to serve and to create something useful. So yeah, to the extent.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you do think about it, a lot of these people that are in this Brewfied group, they were disenfranchised from I guess somebody referred to it the other day as the old regime, and and they are fans of crypto, and they're very intelligent people in there. They're and I mean, you have the characters like you have everywhere else, but they are, to me, I feel like they're a part of all of our community. They just seem like they went a different way, but I think that they're very willing to listen and understand and ask questions.
I am 100% open to any respectful engagement. I am also fine with people who disagree with me, as long as we can disagree without being disagreeable.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm. I'm cool with that. Let's have those conversations. And again, also, I am okay and 100% okay with being proven wrong on something, and I will change my approach based on new information or being educated differently. We
Yeah.
want the same thing. We want this to be successful. So yes.
Okay. I will. I'll reach out to them, see if they have interest. If anybody wants to do it, maybe see what your schedule might be, and see if we can do this.
All right. So we've got a response from Marshall, holder of node, to his initial list of 3. Says, thanks for the response, Nick. I would have included your number 4, but I only have so much room here. And I already agree with your target for niche users. Very smart.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, this is great, Nick. I'm one that, I'm kind of cautious, kind of proceeding with caution, if you will, just given
Some positive
recent
news for
events.
once.
What's that?
Say some positive news for once we get in the last couple of days.
Yeah. So things are looking very positive, and looking forward to what's to come. What's to come. I think we have a more realistic opportunity than what was presented to us initially.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to be also honest with everyone all the time and just say that, look, we're not out of the woods, right? There's a lot of hard work that has to be done. And the hardest thing about bringing a new protocol to life is not the tech. The tech is easy. It's cultivating that ecosystem. That is really hard to do when you're coming off something where there is a lot of baggage, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm committed to dealing with that. I feel like with a sense of optimism, with focus, with talking to the right people, and also I have worked hard for my reputation. So bringing some of that along, I can hopefully fix the problems and take us forward. Yeah.
So kind of speaking to that, I do have some questions about, are you in a situation where you could talk about potential, venture capitalists or other investor groups that you may be working with that could assist with the liquidity position?
Yeah. So you have to look at the venture model, right? A venture capitalist, first and foremost, invests in a team, a solid team. We got to get there first. We got to have that solid team in place, because all VCs know that the product's going to change. Whatever it is that your focus is going to change. That's just how the business works. And if a solid team is in place, they can retrench, they can adapt, they can modify, and keep things moving along. That's one thing. Then what's the second thing they look for? They look for traction. You have a product, you got to demonstrate that you have traction for the intended market it's for. That's another thing. Third, you got to have a large market. You got to have the ability to make a sizable sort of revenue stream in the future. So those there's other check boxes, but those are the 3 primary ones. They're not checked at all yet. So until we can get to the point where we've got the protocol going. Now, this would have been totally different if we had approached VCs at the seed stage. We can't do that. That is done deal now. We have to go to later stage, right? So the team needs to be in place. We need to have the product vision in action. We got to have some traction around that. And I've already allocated tokens in the treasury for that very purpose, where we can potentially get venture capitalists involved. So in this scenario, it would be because we want to scale up the ecosystem. Maybe we have demonstrated that we can do well with indie artists, indie musicians, etc. But now we want to go after studios, etc. That means we got to market, we got to have big budgets and things like that. So in that case, then we would go and raise, your $50-100 million or whatever it is in order to scale up. But now is not the time for that. There's a little bit of work we have to do and get some traction, and then we can pursue that.
Okay.
Nick, how do you feel about the current team that you have right now?
The current team is incomplete. There are some key people that I want to bring in some strategic roles, but without capital, I'm not going to do that. But I have started to reorganize the team already. And if I get a yes, I'll do a full reorg of the team and bring in the right people. For me, it's really important that the people who are in there are self-starters and can defend whatever decisions they make in the community. I want them to be just as open here, because we're going to start having open meetings. Our meetings, I don't know if it'll be Discord or StreamYard or whatever that model is, they will be open. People can come and listen, and it's not open from the perspective of people just jump in with their questions and all of that kind of stuff, but you're invited to listen to the meeting. There's an agenda, and the community can see who's doing what, and then do follow-ups later. But yeah, so my goal is to make sure that we have some strong people in the marketing, the engineering roles in particular. Those are your two key leaders that really need to be solid, and you'll see that they are.
Good question, Prat. That's a great question. OBZ's got a question for you, Nick, and he's asking, has there been a decision on the UXI sacrificed funds?
Yep. So I have committed to the community that by Friday, I will have a UXI plan in place. I'm working on that right now, basically identifying the model, identifying how the rewards will happen, and all of that kind of stuff. So right now, I'm so deep into just the protocol that I can't be distracted with other things also and give them justice. I really want to make sure that I spend good time on UXI and give it the right attention and the right model, because it's important. So give me until Friday and I'll have all those answers.
Thanks for that. Kevin Rowlandson has a question. What is the cost of, he's referring to his vol still, when we get to a centralized exchange? $5 is the question. Is it $5?
Yeah. So if you look at the roadmap slide and the liquidity slide, you can see the what if scenarios there, where it's $4, $5, $6, $7. So it's basically a question of how much capital we are able to raise and by what date. So right now I have put in where we want to do essentially 2 centralized exchanges. So we got to make sure that we have enough liquidity. So if the booster sales go well, then we could go at a higher price. But if the booster sales don't go well, then we would go at a lower price. Now, keep in mind that, our goal should be like whatever price we start at, we have to put things in place so that the market feels confident about it and causes the price to go up. There is a very limited supply of coins when we launch on this thing. It's a scarcity, right? So scarcity drives demand. So hopefully the opening price will become immaterial if we can show very strong signals to the market about our future. Then hopefully the price will go up and it will become immaterial what we start off at.
Okay, great. So we've got Bob is back with a couple of comments. I want to get to those, but not before Crazy Diamond. And Crazy Diamond has a question. Nick, what weaknesses does Gala have that our blockchain can fix?
So Gala is a token, right? I'm sorry, I'll need a little more clarification on that one. I'm not familiar with
Crazy Diamond, if you can add some more context, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So going back to Bob, and I think he's got kind of 2 comments here. Binance is constantly used as an example. I run on Binance with my team, 21 nodes or 500 nodes. Any of us can be removed at any point for violation of the code of conduct. And he comes back with, the consensus is one of the most important parts. Apologies to keep bringing this up, but I will look to push for the change for my friends invested. POA is non-negotiable. And we've got Kryptonian. Welcome, Kryptonian.
What's up, gentlemen? What's up,
Hello.
Nick?
Yeah, what's up, Crip?
You guys I told you, Nick, you're gonna have some great conversation up here with being on Mel's channel. I told you, he brings it, man.
Fun.
So none of that drunken stuff that I bring, but I'm just joking. What's up, gentlemen? Thanks for the invite, guys. Yeah, I was trying to catch you guys on the way in. I like the questions being posed, but one thing that really made me exciting, where I was like, Chris, send me the link, man. 100% is that. I love the fact that, straight up, Chris says, I don't mean to put you on the spot. He does that to me all the time. I know how you feel. Everything's the spot. So he can't take me off the stage right now, but I'm just joking. But what I'm excited about, Nick, is that
I can, dude.
crap, is that
He's got the power
that
now.
the reason why I would say the reason why we're even at this point, Nick, where we're having this conversation with you, and you have a problem to solve, which is right in your wheelhouse, right? This is what you love to do, is because of guys like the guys in the Brew Discord. So the fact that you're willing to meet with those guys, those that those that are serious about this and really want to see the space change in a positive way, and get away with all the shenanigans, I can't wait for that AMA. I can't wait for that back and forth, because there are a lot of smart guys in there that this is what they do. You're sitting there building the chains, right? They're sitting there going. I mean, obviously, and they're reading them. They're going through the transactions. They love this stuff. So that's going to be an exciting one, man. I cannot wait, because it's going to be a meeting of the minds in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. I one of the things I try and do is any situation I'm in, especially one where we are transacting business, etc. If I'm the dumbest guy in the room, I know I'm going to learn something, and something positive is going to come out of it. So
Yeah.
this is great.
Absolutely. That's my motto as well. If I'm wrong, that means I'm about to learn something. Or so I say that all the time. If I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room. And I don't like to.
That's
be in
right,
the wrong room. Really, man, this guy just. What's up, Pride? I thought you'd be at Chili's right now, man.
Oh, shots
Just
fired.
joking, man. I just got back.
Damn.
Jersey Mike's. No, I'm just joking. But it sounds like there was a lot of good questions there. I heard you kind of elaborate on the nodes, and I liked how you posed the question back to Mela. When Mela was he was just bringing up some questions like, what type of what can I look? What do the rewards look like? The rebasing look like? And you were like, well, what numbers are you using? It's like, well, yeah, not that's what happened. That's what happened. You're like, it's all assumptions, right? So, common sense approach, man. Common sense approach. And that's where we should have started at the very beginning of this journey, with common sense, none of this hopium and all these crazy calculations. So that's why I like where this is going. The more and more we get to talk about it, because before, Nick, it was us talking about, man, the chain. This is what we want the chain to do, or what is it? What are the potential of the chain? Now we get to talk to those that are going to be developing it, and actually at the true head of the spear here. And you're saying, look, we're going to do this together. You say it all the time, or at least I've heard you say it at least 3 times. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So thanks for bringing us along, man. It's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. So, but that's it. I'm out of words. Chris.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely looks like a step in the right direction. For sure. So I agree with you, Kryptonian. I want to get back to Bob's comments here, Nick. Do you would you like to respond to these? So, the first one here that I have on screen is the comment about being removed for violations of code of conduct.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking for the question there. Those are
I think he's
statements,
making a comment. Well, I think it's all kind of tying back to, POA. The consensus model. I think he just keeps coming back to the issue of a consensus.
Yeah,
model.
and I've already agreed with Bob that yes, it makes sense for us to discuss that. We would have a DAO committee that would transition that, but I can't execute on a transition to proof of stake now. That would set us back so much, and we have business fundamentals to take care of. I think it's reasonable to launch with a POA and transition to POS as quickly as possible, as we decide in there. I'm not disagreeing with anything he's saying. I'm just saying I can't really orchestrate that now.
Understood. That's fair. That's fair. And you're getting in front of the question, so definitely appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. Did you have something?
And sorry, one more thing, Bob. Please don't apologize. You have a principled approach to this. You're suggesting something that's right. There should be no need to apologize. I think you're right about this, and we should take it into consideration and move forward on it. So I am in agreement.
Nice.
It's good to hear.
Did you see this other one that's mixed in there? Kevin says, Nick, great to hear you twice today. Very well done. Well, Kevin, we've heard from Nick 3 times today because he just came from an X space that we did on, formerly known as Twitter, but now X. So, I just wanted to bring that up because Nick's everywhere. But this I guess we have clarification from the Gala token. So Marshall Holder of Notes says Gala is a token that is launching a blockchain and focused on being a YouTube, Netflix, music, gaming type provider.
I will need to go research that then and see what its pros and cons are as a potential competitor.
All right. What? How much time you got, Nick? I mean, do you?
How many questions we got? Like I said, I'm committed to it. Other than taking a few breaks here and there to eat or, do a few things that are required as a human. Other than that, I'm here.
Required as a human.
So that's good to know that we know that you're human. You're not a bot.
Know it.
Yes.
I was kind of getting worried about that
was
because you were
my next
everywhere.
question. Damn it. We have a question by Double A. You guys see it down at the bottom?
So I have an update. Can I give you guys an update? Breaking news. I've been testing as we were sitting here, the voting app, etc. It looks good. So we are, I think we might, I think I'll do a little more testing and then unleash it to maybe even later tonight. I do want to get the 2 updates I promised out there, which is sort of a model for the node and light nodes, the sheet around that, and then unleash that. Looks like we'll have it go till the 5th, which is what, a Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll have it go until then. So, three solid days of voting.
What was the time again? What was it? Saturday?
9 a.m. Eastern.
9 a.m. Eastern. Wow.
Yeah. So if I really launch it tonight, then that should be plenty of time, right?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the 72 hours and we didn't get any comments from anybody going, no, so hopefully they're okay with it.
Yeah, it should be plenty of time.
Or it could be sooner, right? If we have I don't know, we have 18,000 or so. If I don't know that everyone's going to vote because most people don't even know what's going on. So yeah.
Chris Cruz and Kryptonian. Nick, forgot the @ symbol. Nick, that's rude. Where does proof of stake leave full node holders? Would full node holders still be getting all gas fees? If not, then no full node holder will be with that, right? I think you covered that, didn't you?
Well, all I'm saying is that that's a comment that you should make to the DAO council that works on this when it's formulated, and there's going to be plenty of time for this to have these discussions and this back and forth before we settle on anything. So, it's not me that will make this decision. It'll be the
that's the important thing. I talked about that earlier. Is that you're open to all these things? It'd be the DAO, and you felt like this type of thing would be something that not one person can make that decision.
Yeah.
There's comments from GMO Vol. He's working while doing this live stream. Phenomenal stuff. Yeah. You're putting in real work, Nick. That's appreciated.
I have probably undiagnosed ADHD. I cannot do one thing ever. I'm always doing 2 or 3 things.
Now the question is, do you finish what you start? That's
yes.
There it is.
Yes.
There's hope. And there's hope.
Sky High says it's multitasking on the next level.
Yeah.
For sure.
He probably wrote an app for it, just to be honest. The app's doing all the multitasking for him.
So do you all have any other questions for Nick?
Let's see. He's answered so many of my questions.
No, I'm good.
Anything. I don't have a whole lot. I wish there would be more, but I think Nick, seriously, you've answered so many different questions. I think so.
I think you explained a lot.
Is this going to be the last live that you would have before the voting would start? Is this
probably? I think so. Yeah. I just want to do a little more testing, and if it's good, then unleash it. So yeah.
Okay.
It looks like I did miss a couple of questions, so I want to get to those. On site's got one. Are full node holders going to make enough to cover the cost of the VM at a minimum? Virtual machines.
Yeah. So all VMs are not equal, right? So it depends on what VM you have, but I suspect that just the incentive alone is going to make that cover that. I feel, but like I said, I'm gonna go do that modeling here tonight and have that answer for you. So VM cost. I mean, basically, what are the costs for node holders, right? It's primarily the VM operating cost, and potentially, if you don't have the skills to sort of Linux, etc., would potentially pay someone, right?
Yeah,
An hourly
absolutely.
wage or something to do that.
Yeah, you're going to pay somebody to manage it for you, right?
Yeah.
Guys, I'll put my website up. I'm sure.
Yeah.
DM me. I know a guy. I'm just kidding.
I was going to ask Kryptonian, like, what skills, what Linux skills do you see are necessary?
Well, I'm definitely not advanced Linux at all.
Node?
I mean, I'm very, very I would say basic to intermediate. I mean, I'm a Windows guy. I took some of those classes. I know my way around it. But when it came to actually working on blockchains, when we started building the nodes for Vulkan at the very beginning, that's when I had to kind of dust off the my Linux skills. But it's like anything else. It's definitely if you take the time. If you take your time, it's definitely doable. And I think anyone has the aptitude to do this. You just have to put the time into it, Right. And you're not actually, unless you're a developer and you're writing the code, that's different. That's a whole different, that's an alien right there. That's not human. Those aren't humans. Those guys, that's magic what they do. But actually just the setting it up and going in and you're throwing some Linux commands and understanding what you're doing. It's really all about understanding what you're doing rather than just copy pasting. You have to know what's happening. Otherwise, you're gonna break things. But it doesn't take a lot. It's not going to take you 4 years of college to be able to do this. It's just going to take you. I mean, it's going to take you some real time. Hey, at the end of the day, you got to look at it as a return. You're thinking about, man, I'm going to get a node. This is going to create some passive income for me. Well, okay. It's like the way I see it is, okay, I'm going to go and spin up a server. I'm going to be throwing some Linux at this thing. I'm going to have to manage it myself. What is that ROI worth to me? If the potential of it, if am I willing to obviously put some money in the game and that's it, walk away from it? I'm sorry, there is no investment on earth where you can just throw money into it and walk away. It takes some effort at some degree. So if that's what you're looking for, this isn't for you. I mean, that's how I feel about it. But I hope that answers your question. So I guess what I'm saying, Mel, is you got this, bro.
Oh, I'm good.
I know you are, man. You're an IT guy, man.
I'm proficient in Linux, so I'm all right.
Good. I'm going to need you to
the community that have nodes that may not be as familiar understand what they've gotten themselves into.
It's work, man.
It is,
but it's doable. It's doable. It really is. It really is. I think if you have enough ambition and I don't know, energy to learn a smartphone, then you have absolutely, or learn an app on a smartphone. And I'll take it a step further. If my 8-year-old can play Roblox efficiently, she can learn Linux, quickly. I know I'm being kind of, a little satire there, but it's true. It's not, oh my God, it's impossible. It really isn't. It's just another language you gotta learn. That's all.
Yep. So we do have a couple of questions, Nick, if you got the time, and welcome Richard Hart to the show. Custom games mods.
Awkward.
Is asking, Nick, can you talk a little bit about your love for art? It's a great question.
Sure. So I always loved art since I was a kid. But then, after growing up, just got into journalism and computer science and never pursued it. But then about probably, 15 months ago or so, I was on a Clubhouse before Twitter Spaces that we had those. And they were talking about NFT art. Now, I was familiar with NFTs because I was there in the original CryptoKitties and NBA Top Shot. I'm like probably top 0.01% of holders. So I'm familiar with that. But I was like, art NFT, was that? So got involved into an auction situation. And I like to win those. And so that was, the price went way up. I spent way too much. But I got hooked. And I started, looking at art that was out there, etc. And it became very clear to me that artists were out of the element. They were in this tech space, but they had no knowledge of tech. They had no knowledge of sales, no knowledge of marketing, no knowledge of social media. So I'm like, well, I feel like I could help them a bit. And so I started doing these Sunday morning YouTube shows very amateurish, nothing compared to this professional setup, like really Zoom stream, where I interviewed some of them and talked to them about their stories and all that. And the more I talked to them, the more I felt like um, for the art ecosystem to succeed, it needs someone, it needs a fusion, a collaboration with developers, with technologists, because Web3 is fundamentally technology, and just bringing the art is not going to work. So then I started actively, collecting art, and a lot of it. And I organized a conference in India, in Bangalore, called Namaste NFT. We had 10,000 people show up. It was an amazing conference. Then I started looking more about, like, how can artists make a living, a sustainable wage, because we've always had this notion, of starving artists, like every other profession, legit, like accountant, doctor, whatever. Artist, what's your real job? That's the question they get all the time. And I'm like, okay, I gotta change that. And
that's
so
messed up.
and then I started talking to some folks who got a UN grant, and were looking at how indigenous artists in the Amazon rainforest could make a living. So I'm like, let's go talk to them. And so I went to the Amazon rainforest. I went to Paraguay, Argentine wetlands, etc., and met with these villagers, these indigenous artists, understood their craft, and then I started thinking about how can I create something that can help all of these artists, the ones in developed countries, the one in developing countries. And that's where I decided, okay, it's time to make a DAO and get these artists together in a collective. And so there's about 4,000 of them right now, and that continues to grow. So I've been doing lots of challenges, etc. I rented a gallery for 1 month in downtown Dubai and did an exhibition where like 250 artists from around the world, who never in their life would dream of their art ever being shown anywhere, got a chance to do that. I partnered with a company in Portugal we were talking about earlier that makes sneakers, to have custom sneakers with art on them, etc. So I'm exploring business models to help artists, because I fundamentally have fallen in love with this idea that social media has wreaked havoc upon us, our lives. It has made us polarized. It has brought out the worst of us. I mean, just look at the Discord, right? The worst of us. And I feel like art can make for a kinder, gentler world. It can make us better people and make better human connections. And so I'm committed to that.
It's good. No, I think art is the
Nick,
secret sauce of
I
life.
definitely do that.
You got a question here, Nick. Can you tell Chris Cruzy, and he corrected the next one, to make sure that he votes with all three of his wallets instead of just one? Well, I will say that I listened to Nick. I understood what he was talking about, and I did commit to the fact that whatever Nick decided, I would go with, because I believe that he had researched it better than me. So I will be doing what Nick recommends. So we're good.
Yeah.
No,
So
I was going to say real quick, Nick, I believe exactly what you just said there, as far as having even a better environment like Discord. And we just literally it's Discord, full of people who are looking for some type of gain financially. And as we know, money brings out the worst of people in some attempts. But I think if, you put that art aspect in there, you put people in there who are passionate about art and not necessarily the financial part of it, then that's when you start seeing a very different type of community. So yeah, I think we should really push to try to really mix in a new brand of investor, but that investor is actually a more creative investor than a financial one.
agreed.
So Bob's come back with questions, which is cool. Nick, will you guys, I guess, incentivize running RPCs and WebSockets, etc.?
I think so, because we don't want to be the only people hosting nodes, high performance nodes for RPC clients, etc. So yeah, we'll have to. Now, keep in mind that I'm approaching this right now from the other side. Almost, I'm stepping into this. I haven't had a chance to think about all these things, and but yeah, so we would definitely want to do that. We want more than just the protocol to run RPC ports open for others. Normally, our script for all the validators is going to be that most of the ports are closed for your own security, because most people don't know how to secure it or what to do, etc. But for people who do know it, we should incentivize them in some format. So yeah,
That's good.
100%.
It
So
just adds
invest
to the
in
it just
yourself.
adds
Oh,
to the
go ahead,
decentralization, right? It's not all controlled by you guys. I saw something about bootstrapping the existing those that sacrifice or do that. Did you guys talk about that one? I don't know if that came up. I saw that comment early on. Was it here? I saw that. Like I
I missed that. You said
think Bob
bootstrapping. I
pushed
didn't
it.
see anything about bootstrapping.
Yeah. I'll try to find the comment. But
Yeah.
go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I was going through the starred comments. I'll have to probably scroll up to see that one that you're referring to.
Yeah, no, you go ahead. I'll look for it. Yeah, I'm late, guys. Sorry about that.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
So invest in yourself is asking Nick, can you automate the node process to set up?
Yeah, I believe, as to the best of my knowledge, that it's been heavily scripted, so it's pretty much automated. But I will double check on that. I'm pretty sure that it's been mostly made. Yes, yes, no, no. Answer a few questions and it goes through.
So we've
But the
got Rich
problem with
Hubman
any
and
of these
Hayes
things
just-
is to make them bulletproof, right? You hit one thing that's different, and it. So here's the good thing, right? We are doing it in waves, right? We are doing it in clusters, so we'll know and we can tune it for the next batch, as we find problems, and make sure that by the time we get to the largest number, it's running pretty smoothly.
We've got Rich Hubman here. He just joined, and just your mom's birthday today. So happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we brought that up.
Cool. Master Baron's got a question. Nick, can you please look into activating the checker for full node address or for full node addresses?
Yeah, so I already
coins
posted an update 2 days ago that the sacrifice checker is going to be renamed to Genesis balance checker, and you will be able to put your full node address in there also and see the amount of coins. So right now, the three constituents that are pending are the BTC, the full node, and the light node. Now, light nodes have until this Friday. There's going to be an article published about that in order to tell us, not to tell us, but to move their NFT wherever they want the coins to end up. So because they have an NFT, right, they can move it around. So once they put that in place, then we'll also have them included in the Genesis balance checker.
Okay. We've got another question here. Nick, once you complete your own investigation and found the 3 original co-founders incompetent, will you fire them?
All right. So if I'm voted in, then here's the thing. There was no company in place. So I will seek legal advice and do what the lawyers tell me to do. And I will publicly, provide updates on that situation also. But I don't think I should be on a YouTube live stream talking about things that are pending legal matters. So I will speak to counsel and then announce appropriate.
That's an honest, decent answer.
That is, and that should be a common sense, approach. I mean, that's not common sense. I mean, that's a very, very. I remember you talking about. Chris asked you if you were open to, I guess, having some sort of live meeting with the team. What was it? What was that? What you're talking about? Chris?
Like their meetings or their regular stuff, not personnel, not
right, but on
security,
personal stuff that's private, and of course not. And when it's relative to what's going on with the actual the chain, the development, of course.
Any kind of.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just how that's how real business operate. You don't put all your dirty laundry out. You just don't do that. It's not smart. But thanks for addressing it, Nick. I mean, you could have said I'll plead the fifth, but you didn't. You just so appreciate it. Yep.
Nick, can I ask you a question again? This isn't putting you on the spot. Just ask you a question. Do you think that you would be available if we were to set this up to have this discussion tomorrow, like at 9 p.m. Eastern? Would that be something? I want to kind of get your feel as to what your schedule looks like before I kind of set anything up with any of them.
6 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, should be fine.
6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, August the 2nd.
Yep, no problem. I'll just add a placeholder in my calendar.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So, and I will reach out to them and let them know that's what we'll do a live like this. We'll do the StreamYard, and we'll be available, and we'll see. We'll get as many questions as we can and see what they can bring to the table. And
The group is called the
Brewfied.
Brewfi. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Biz is always around, and in just a few minutes he'll probably end up putting it in our chat. So if you want to do the link, I mean, every single time I say, "Hey, could you look for this?" and it's already in there. So he's too good, too good for all of us.
Top of it. On site's got a couple of questions here for you, Nick. The first is, Nick, is there going to be a vote for giving light node, I guess he means pool here. I'm not quite sure where he's going with that.
Yeah,
I don't understand that question.
I think you would.
I didn't understand it either, but I didn't want to pass over it.
He might be talking about when Nick brought up the pooling. With if you couldn't with the validator, if you couldn't afford the a full node, then you were able to. I mean, I'm talking about the staking. I'm sorry, the staking pool. I think that's what he may be talking about.
Yeah, I don't know how it applies in the light node context, so I'd ask for more clarification on that one.
Yeah, if you can clarify that on site. And his second question here is, Nick, is there going to be a vote to determine if light nodes are going to get part of the gas fees? If yes, how is that going to work, considering there are 1,500 light nodes and 500 full nodes?
Yeah, so technically, I guess I'm going to publish this spreadsheet tonight with my model for the income proposal. So everyone's going to vote on that. So I'll have updated the deck and I've presented that spreadsheet. So yeah, it wouldn't be a separate vote on that. If people like, what I present tonight, like everything that I've presented so far, the models, etc. I still keep open the possibility that as we talk about this and we move forward a little bit, you can tweak things. They're not all laid out in stone, but there needs to come a point where we say, okay, this is done. Like we can't indefinitely keep having conversations. But right now, this is sort of a reboot, right? So it's important to get everyone's feedback and make sure that everyone's comfortable, because the more comfortable everyone is, the more successful we're going to be together. So yeah, I will present the light node and node income model tonight. I know what the requirement is. The requirement is that people have not only their investment sort of monthly investment, right? The hosting fees, etc. Have that plus a profit, and they want it in perpetuity for the blockchain. That's why you got into it. I understand that. So I have to work out a model like that, and I'll do that.
Okay, great. Biz has got a question here. Nick, can we establish official node guides that full node holders can contact for assistance for a fee? Our in-house geek squad, which are already KYC'd as they themselves are own full nodes, so security is covered.
I like it. I love the idea. Made a note. We'll make it happen.
Awesome. Let's see. I think we've got two more that are highlighted. Nick, when getting creators, please, can there be a concerted effort to helping independent animators? I personally know a few. The effort money put in for returns is sad to see. I want them to do well.
Yep.
Cool.
So, for the different types of creators that are out there, it's going to be sort of a gradual process as we onboard different kinds, because there are some that are well suited. They're independent. They create a work product that is consumable by someone else as an NFT, right? That's the easiest one. But then there are some that work as a team. For example, if you work on a movie, you're doing VFX or something like that, you're not going to be able to create something by yourself. That's a movie production, right? So your scope then would be like, how could we create a model to incentivize movie makers to get in on Web3. Could you tokenize a whole movie? Absolutely, it's been done. So then, if you tokenize a movie, could you then give fractional tokens to everyone whose names you see on the 20 screens of credits that go by? Absolutely, right? So there you go. So that would be the indirect pathway to get people, like was alluded to in the question, who potentially may not be able to work independently but could be part of it. So I envision a future where we can tokenize movies and can incentivize the individuals in there. So when the movie is a blockbuster hit, that token value goes up and everyone gets to share in the reward. Whereas right now, the studio gets everything and maybe the lead actors do, but most of them just get a salary, right? So yeah, we can change that.
Okay. Teddy One's got a question. Nick, if you find the top wallets are fraudulent, can you add their tokens to the incentive pool or increase light nodes incentive pool?
Yeah, I already said that. Basically, that 15 million pool that's there for the OGs, whatever we don't need from it is going directly into the incentive pool. So that 5.625 million will go up.
Okay. Rob T has Nick, assuming the vote passes and you become the permanent CEO, will you be able to give the community an update on how the investigation is going into the stolen funds?
Yeah. So just a point of clarification: the vote means that you're authorizing me to form a company, and only then will I be able to become a CEO, and only then will I be able to hire a law firm to be able to execute on these things. But yeah, so want to do these things.
So
That's a very good
site-
point. Good clarity there. You're giving him. You're voting for Nick. You're giving him the authority to formulate a company, which everything else falls into place. So right now, he can't do anything. And I like how you pointed out at the very beginning. It's kind of ahead of this for this question. Regarding the other team members, there was no company. Technically, there was no other company. So it was just a bunch of guys hanging out. Hey, we got an idea. I'm sorry, but that's what it was, and that's what it is. So we're trying to take it to where it isn't, right? So good. Looking forward to that. So go vote, guys. Go vote.
Yep. Take care of that.
Chris,
Sure.
one time.
On site, you're saying we skipped your last question. I had two of yours come up, and I think you had one earlier. So if there's another, can you repost it? Because I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I saw that. I was looking for it, but I can't tell. Yes, if he's got that.
Yeah, we want to get your question. So, if you wouldn't mind just reposting it, that'd be great.
So Mel, there's another show that I have attended on occasion. They call themselves Blockchain and Booze. So it's kind of in the same vein.
Yeah. So, I co-own a wine bar, and one of my business partners, he comes on and educates us on wine. I'm not as educated on the wine aspect of things. I'm more of the IT and audio visual guy there.
Cool. Where's your wine bar?
It's in Dallas, Texas.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. So,
is it in Frisco? Or is it Fort Worth? I forget where it was at.
It's downtown Dallas.
I have a question.
Nice. I'm at the
Oh,
stop
hey,
by,
Richard. Compton is.
Send me that
Nick,
location.
this
there,
is
Miller.
this is
Hello,
Compton.
everybody. This is Richard Hart.
Richard Hart. Yeah.
Postchain.com, postx.com. Anyways,
Rich.
Nick, I have a question for you real quick. When this vote passes, and it will pass, will you bring the people from Silicon Valley over to create liquidity into Vulcan? Because I know you're well connected.
Yeah, so I think we had that discussion earlier. Venture capitalists are not just, they have requirements, right? And the requirements are that there be a team in place, that this blockchain have some traction as a community, we have apps, etc. And when those conditions are met, yeah, we can start looking to raise capital. So yes, the answer is yes, but not until we've met some preconditions.
Thank you.
All right.
Good question. So we've got Tate Sonar. With part of the creative focus also include authors?
Absolutely.
Good question.
Yeah, creatives of all kinds. Yeah.
Okay. Chris, this is for you. Is it possible to get members of the BroodFi unbanned in Vulcan Discord? The team has asked and gets ignored. when they request this?
Oh, I think that this was just they were that they just put my name in there. It's actually for Nick. I don't have any powers on Discord.
It'll be a moot issue, guys. With the new brand, there'll be a new Discord server.
Yeah. So, and that would probably happen. I mean, fast. Bam. Vote yes. Bam. No, now we got to use Discord, right? It'll be that quick. A couple days, 72 hours, 48 hours, like that.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. Like I said, you know, you want to start over. You don't want to have, you know, the link. You want to just start anew. You know, just straight a new team. It's going to be a new way of things. New moderating team. I think that's what we need. And honestly, the best thing we could have done is destroy that Discord with a rebrand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just make sure you back up everything before you take it out. So that would be my suggestion. You may need that.
Yes.
Invest in yourself has a comment. Nick, I want to help with the LP to have enough for the blockchain to succeed. How much booster NFTs do you want each holder to buy?
Right. So I want everyone to think very carefully about the plan, about the future, and then think about their own personal capacity and whatever they feel. If it's zero, that's fine. If it's more than that, it's more than that. I am not the type of person who is, tweaking people and getting them to like buy more. No, I'm not that person. I'm sorry. So you should make a decision on whatever you want, whatever is right for you, and go with that. If zero is that, then that's that. Let the chips fall where they may. So I encourage you to look at everything in detail and make an educated decision.
C. Titch has a question. Can we use any of the Brian Legend tokens in cap tables to fund the investigation?
So all those tokens there that are allocated are locked for essentially 36 months and are revocable. So it only takes a majority of the other members to revoke and claw them back. So really, they cannot be sold. They cannot be transferred. They can have nothing. They're just sitting there.
Okay. We've got Riley saying huge respect to you, Nick Kalyani. So yeah, we
Thank
definitely appreciate what you're doing. On-site has a question. Wanted to confirm that you saw the suggestion for the create blockchain.
Create and create tech. I have it in my notes. Yes.
Right. Thanks for that. Top Legend, do you think about brand names for Vulcan? Do you have suggestions?
I don't think he's going to tell us.
Right.
I've been looking at the channel there. There's some really good ideas, and I have some ideas also. But like I said earlier, like the moment I make any statement, boom, people will go and squat on them, and then it'll be harder for us. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to. This time I will plead the fifth, or whatever, not the fifth, whatever it is. I'll plead the brand fifth.
Yeah, there you go.
You cannot confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal.
Right.
So I know Richard Hart, you kind of came in midstream, and you did have one question. Did you have any other questions for Nick?
I do.
Well, I think you
Today,
can raise them because we're
did
done
you
with
want to
our
ask?
initial
Answer
list
it?
so far.
What you got, Compton?
I'm trying to think. Hold on. I was eating something hot. Hold on.
Oh.
He's taking a bite. So I saw
There you go.
the Brood 5.
Look at how cool you look now.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. That's meme material, Nick.
Yeah, you be careful. You're going to be on a meme tomorrow.
Yep.
I have had the artists create thousands of memes of me. So yeah.
I'd like to see that though, because there are some funny memes out. Some of them are just silly.
Yeah.
but-
I will say this, Nick. You look a lot better than the other guy with glasses. That's all I'm going to say. Brew, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Oh, Kryptonian's about ready.
I'm done.
This is what I want for our community, though.
There you go. Love.
Love,
There you go.
peace and love, man.
We should all get a pair of those and just wear them one night, the whole night.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Well, Mello, what were you talking
text
about?
me.
You said something about the Brewfi. You saw something?
Yeah,
Does somebody have a
I saw
question?
that you guys are organizing the Brood Fire for tomorrow, right? I just want to make sure everybody has has an opportunity to either listen in or join as that takes place. 'Cause I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be great. That
fun.
group over there, they are amazing. They've got a lot of technical talent over there, and it's great, Nick, to see that you're hearing them out, right, and taking some of these suggestions even. So that is great to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they have so much to offer in so many different areas and saying bring so many things to the table that it's like, and Nick is repeatedly said ever since he did his AMA, he's repeatedly said that he is open to all kinds of suggestions and dialogue as long as it's respectful. And, that's all anybody's ever asking for. And everybody respects each other. We talk it through. Do you know how great this blockchain could be in the future if we really truly listen to everybody, all sides, and we tackled the tough parts, the things that were, oh, this doesn't look right. Well, let's all look at it and figure it out and make it better.
Yeah. Honestly, it sounds like from everything I'm hearing about the BrewFi group, sounds like we already have a technology council for the DAO already.
Yeah,
you do.
Wow, they're over my
You
head.
really do.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're talking about. Over there.
There's definitely a handful in there that
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'll tell you this, Nick, what I learned from those guys. At first, I think I was one of the first ones that was sniped, from the community, from these guys. They were relentless. They just kept throwing questions at me, and I'm just like, what are y'all talking about? But as I began to like open mind and really, take the blinders off, I went in there and I learned some things. I realized I didn't know what I didn't know. But at the end of the day, there are some guys in there, and there's these guys are in all communities, I think, but they really want what's best for the space as a whole. There's no self, there's no gloating in there. They're not pompous or anything like that, as I've been accused of being. But anyways, they're not. They really want to make the space better, and they just don't want they don't want communities to get wrecked. They want it to be realistic, and so it's cool to see that that coming from them, because now really what all you're doing is answering questions. That's really all you're doing, Nick. I mean that's it. And the fact that they've asked the same questions that you've being asked right now, they've tried to ask the last team. Censored, block, ban, and just ridiculed, laughed out of the communities. So you can understand where the tension would be.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's now an open door, this is going to be great. And this is what the space needs, I think. This is what the community needs. What I'm really excited about, this is going to give, I think, the protocol, as you'd like to call it, I think it's going to give it definitely a fighting chance at this point, And that's all we've ever asked for, is just give us an opportunity we can all get behind, and let's just try, man. Let's try. So it's looking very good. I cannot wait.
So we've got a comment from Wolfgrim. I'd like to comment from a personal standpoint as an artist. I like the ideas Nick has for the blockchain.
Thank you.
And if I recall correctly, isn't Wolfgrim one of the BroodFi members?
He is a very big member over there. He's actually, I've had lots of conversation with him. He is extremely intelligent. He's one of these other guys too. It's like, man, if you start talking that way, I can't understand you. So take a breath.
Yeah, and that's something else I want to kind of touch on, to add on to what Kryptonian was saying and what you just described in this comment. Even is, when I first heard about the BroodFi group, it was introduced to me as the Fudders group, right? Mm-hmm. It was the Fudders. They want everything to fail, and
yeah,
and I'm not seeing that. They care about the block, they care about the space, right? They care about the crypto space in general. They don't want the blockchain to fail. I asked them directly, hey, do you all want this thing to fail? I just want to know, yes or no. Do you want it to fail? And the responses were, no, we don't want it to fail, but we want it to be executed properly, right? Because we want to keep DeFi, right? We don't want the government coming in and interfering with things, right? Because of bad actors, you're going to get regulated, and they're trying to avoid that. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that if you're still on the fence about the Brood Fi group and what they're about and what they're doing. I mean, of course, you have your own opinions and you can go with that, but make sure you do your own research into that group with, before you just make an assumption based on what someone else has said and what someone else's experience was. So I just want to call that out.
Yeah, good stuff. Man.
And also, a group is not the monolithic thing, right? Like, it's people.
Right.
There's individual people, and there's different people in the group. So
that's right. Yeah, that's you're exactly right, Nick. Once I actually dove in and I realized it isn't a group, everybody that I've had conversations with. I mean, there was a lot of contention, tension, and just back and forth because I'm a stubborn guy, right? And I'm like, I'm very open minded. I want to hear both sides of the story, but they were just. I think if they saw an opportunity, hey, someone's listening, they just kind of threw up on me all the information. I needed time to digest it, right?
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, you came out a couple of days ago and you said that with the flex pool and the what was it what were the things that we're taking out?
Tax and the power.
Power pool.
Bars.
You literally said this. You said those things were just gimmicks, And had you said that, Nick, 3 months ago, you would have been banned. You would have been called a fudder, and you would have been in the roof. I'm being honest with you, because that's exactly what they were saying, and that's just it. So you didn't say anything they weren't already saying, and that's where the frustration came from. So, but yeah, you're right. It isn't a group. It's individuals that they all have their own human experience, and they all bring something to the table. And this is what I love about this. I never would have met these guys, you, Nick, and the gentleman up here, had it not been for crypto. So I love the space, man. I love
how many people are in the group?
Oh God, in their Discord, I don't know, a couple hundred, maybe 500, 600. I don't know. I only know like 6 that I deal with on a daily. Mike Brew being the main guy. Bob is one of them. Wolfgrim is another one. I mean, I can name them all. I won't do that, but when you jump in there, there's gonna be a core group of guys that they're gonna be like, hey, look, this we've got questions, so.
Yep.
Yeah. And the questions are legitimate.
As long as they're respectful. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's exactly my point that I was trying to make the other day, is that this all started with me when we had the announcement of what the remaining funds were, and I was on a live and I said the blockchain can't launch with this liquidity. It's not going to make it. And I got all kinds of grief. Oh, you're just turning into a fudder and all that. And I'm like, really? And then Nick does his AMA and he literally says, the way it is right now, it would not last. And I'm like, okay.
Same thing.
Nick and I would be in the fudder group together.
Yeah.
So but anyway.
Check it out. Bob
is responding to the user,
I stand corrected. About
2,200.
2,200.
Yep.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So what about that question that was up there? Okay, you got it.
Yep. So Twig's got a question here. Hey Nick, don't you think we'll raise more than $3 million with boosters? I believe that. And what would be your feelings if that happens?
I have no idea how much we are going to raise. I hope we can get to our target, but I'm prepared if we don't reach our target, then we have to regroup, come up with a different plan, and still continue to move forward. So if we exceed our goals, then we have 2 choices, right? We either have a longer runway or we have the ability to scale up faster. I would choose scaling up faster. The reason being that if we have traction faster, then it becomes attractive for other investors to come in and get a significantly larger commitment in the $50-100 million range.
Cool.
That's
and
nice.
Chris, this is for you on site, is correcting your delivery. Chris, don't you mean how great the blockchain will be?
Did I say it won't be? Did I say that we won't have a blockchain?
Hey, you got to take that up with onsite.
I'm sorry, onsite. If I said that, no.
I apologize for Elmer Futter here, but
no.
Wow.
I told that with Nick. I truly feel this way. With Nick, I think I said we can have. I'm sorry.
You did.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. That's what I was saying. Yeah, you're right. I correct myself. I apologize, buddy. Thanks for calling me out.
And we've got invest in yourself, Nick. I like the idea of automating the software of bringing other tokens to the blockchain. What is your plan for that?
I'm trying to understand the context of the question.
I think
Automating
there
the
may be
soft.
some confusion there in context, but invest in yourself. If you can clarify that a little bit, that'd be great. I know earlier in the conversation about automation, there was some discussion about automating the full
Script.
node onboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the onboarding. Like
Yeah,
Launchpad.
so you talked about that a little bit. So I don't know if that's what invest in yourself is referring to, but invest in yourself. If you could clarify that, that'd be great. That'd be great if you could restate your question.
Wouldn't it be like when you swap like Ethereum for another token, something like that, where you can swap other than USDT, USDC? Let's say you want to swap BNB straight for Vulcan.
So that would be on the DEX, the pairs that we have. So, I mean, it would be in our interest to have lots of different pairs, but all of them require liquidity also. So it's a double-edged sword. It's a bit challenging initially, but if this is everything comes back to, if you have a blockchain that's delivering value, people step up, they provide liquidity, and that helps. So we gotta build something of value.
Show the value, really, right? You got to show the value. Yeah.
I think we've got FLA Finest. Is that Florida's Finest, perhaps? Vol says, I appreciate Nick's comprehensive real-world view and approach towards this blockchain. With his leadership, we have a fighting chance, and I agree with that. That's couldn't say that better.
I appreciate the vote of confidence. Thank you.
Well, we haven't voted yet, Nick.
Any ideas on how to raise liquidity?
Well, I made a deck about it, so tinyurl.com/vulcan-plan-1-1.
There you go.
Yep, you can read all about it.
On paper, on purpose.
And Top Legend, thanks, Nick. I see you in the trust, the honesty, respectful, and thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And on site saying, I think invest in yourself. He was talking about automating the creation of new tokens.
Oh, he actually responded. Next one.
So it's not that confusing. Bringing other tokens that want to be on the blockchain. You have the software that you can make tokens.
You know what? I think he's talking about DAppStarter, which is a developer onboarding and make it super simple. Yeah, so we'll have that, but you don't really need that just to bring tokens on board. That's to develop apps that are more complex than that. To have an ERC token, or ERC20 token on here is trivially, it's like literally minutes. You can do it because the contracts are all out there. So what we really want to do is incentivize people to build on here and create the tokens on here, etc. Because the more dApps that are created, the more transactions that we have, and therefore everyone benefits from that. The node owners benefit from gas. We benefit from rebase targets being reached. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, DAppStarter.
I have one more question. Nick, will Vulcan have its own launch pad for other tokens or other projects to launch on Vulcan, its own launch pad?
Yeah, so you're talking about like the AVAX launchpad or whatever, right? So
AVAX or the what's it called? What's the other one? Tron?
Yeah. So really, those are all marketing terms for essentially having a grant program, and then an incubator, if you will, right? So yeah, absolutely. I've what shape it will take, I don't know yet, but we are going to have grants available for projects. We are going to give them marketing support. We are going to give them technical support. We are going to give them, basically all the support that's needed in order to promote and get off the launchpad, if you will. So yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be called the launchpad. I don't know yet, but it's in our interest to have high quality projects rather, launch on this protocol. So we want to incentivize them, and the way to do that is to get one or two named, well-known projects build up on this, and then other people. Like the first thing we have to do is build credibility. We have to build credibility. We have no credibility right now.
We have negative.
Wouldn't it be good to have Microsoft build a game on the blockchain?
I think if Microsoft was going to build a game, they would do it on their own chain. I don't know that they will, or on an Ethereum or something like that. That's really well established. But yeah, I mean, you got the general concept, right? Think not Microsoft, but think about a gaming studio that would potentially, launch on our platform, like maybe an Animoca or someone like that,
I have a question, Nick. I'm pretty sure there's some projects probably out there at some point going to have the same question. What are we doing about a stable coin?
Yeah,
That was like a question we could not get answered before all this debacle happened. That was like the one thing a lot of projects were questioning.
Yeah. So on the centralized exchange, that's no problem. We'll have a stable coin pair. Now the DEX, that's a whole different story, because with the DEX, what we have to do is negotiate with Circle for the USDC, or with I guess Tether for USDT. So both of those require you to go through a fairly long vetting process before they approve you, and we'll go through that. So we'll go through that, and hopefully we'll get approved, and then we can have a stable coin available to us. So that's assuming we want to create our own stable coin. So if people want to use the bridge and create, a wrapped stable coin or something like that, that's a lot easier to do, and that might be something that people choose to do, and we will support them in that regard. But on the centralized exchange, 100%, we are going to have a stable coin pair. The thing that people need to understand is, on the centralized exchange, one of the challenges is that there are almost no rebasing protocols, right? So until now, it was actually more or less impossible to get a centralized exchange to fully commit because of the tax. They were not too much in favor of that. Now what's left is, how do you handle the rebase? Now, remember, a centralized exchange, you basically leave your keys at the door. You become an entry in their database. You're no longer in crypto space when you're in a centralized exchange. You're in Web 2 space, which looks like crypto space. So the centralized exchange has all the coins of all the people who have transferred their funds to the exchange for the purpose of trading. The centralized exchange is therefore getting all the rebase tokens, right? Now, what they do with that is up to the exchange, their policy. They might choose to do nothing and just keep it, which, I mean, face it, they are there to make money, and most centralized exchanges will squeeze every dime out of everything, right? They could potentially distribute it to people. That requires software, more complexity, etc. So this is a question that is unsolved, unanswered right now, is when we have centralized exchange and we have the rebasing, what happens to your rebasing? I mean, as a user, you should be aware that the moment you deposit funds in a centralized exchange, you are no longer getting any rebasing, because the exchange is getting those tokens. So generally, you always advise people, don't use an exchange as your store. Like, you go there and do trading and then exit, right? Because not your key, not your crypto, right? So yeah, so there's those issues to be solved yet, and we have to dig deeper into them a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a cost for them to manage those rebases.
Yeah. Invest in yourself as a comment. I don't hear you talking about DApp Starter. I would think that this would make the blockchain stronger, just my opinion.
Absolutely would, but I'm not talking to a developer audience here, so everything I say would be like, okay, that sounds great. Let's talk about how much income I'm going to have for my node, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
The conversation.
How much is DApp Starter going to make me?
So
I have to go to the audience. I have to speak to my audience.
Right. So, and that doesn't mean that you're not having those conversations with developers, right?
Yeah, I had that, and the challenge, as I expressed, is that we didn't have any features for which they could build. Just going and saying, hey, here's a rebasing blockchain, was not attractive enough. We found that out. So now the strategy is flipped completely. Don't go to the developers first. Go to the end users who are going to come here and, post their art, NFT projects, etc., and create enough of an ecosystem where developers say that, oh, cool, if I built a DApp there, there's already a bunch of users. Like, why do you go build on Ethereum? Because there's a bunch of users already with Ethereum wallets, right? So you build there. That's what we want. We want to go and say, people say that, why do we build on blockchain X, whatever it's called? It'll be end up a call, right? Because there's a bunch of users, and including these big companies, etc. So we need to create that attraction for developers to come here.
Yeah, Sky High's got to come in here. There's at least 1 billion artists worldwide in various types of art. This idea of bringing them onto the blockchain is huge. Sonny T loves your story about creating something to help out with a school fundraiser. She's a former athletic director and have an idea herself for fundraising for youth sports on the blockchain. That's cool.
Well, I hope we can talk then, because I'd love to support you in your idea and your venture. See, this is it. Like, we have people with ideas, like real ideas that are solving real problems. They get manifested into apps. People come and use them slowly. And we have 1,000 of these, and now we've got a big ecosystem.
Yeah. So invest in yourself. I guess you met in Dubai. So thank you, Nick, for your answers. It was a pleasure meeting you in Dubai.
Thank you.
That's great.
It was awesome.
King Kaching, any plans to partner with Pink Cell so projects can launch there?
I just learned about Pink Cell, so I'm going to go look it up now. If it's a viable thing, then yeah, I think it'll be interesting. See, there's so many services, so many websites, so many things, etc. You can't. But as I learn about these things, I would definitely check them out.
Jacko13 saying, at Nick, I agree with you. Not introduce any names, ideas, or put it to a vote, because that individual could just go by the domain in every variant and then hold it hostage. Yep.
Yeah.
And here's a branding partnership opportunity, perhaps from.
I just threw that name out there just because they're a big player. Okay, I don't want anyone to misconstrue that and say that we've got any talks or anything. I don't want to start any false rumors. So I just threw that out there as the type of kind of entity that we would like.
I need to cancel that stock order then.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Good deal. All right. So cool. So I think we've got through the remainder of the questions there. I want to go back to Compton. Did you have anything else? No, you're having dinner maybe?
I think the question was, did you have anything else for dinner, Compton?
There you go.
You there, bud? You got any more questions?
Chicken.
Always. You got
No
any more questions?
No, I think Nick is doing a great job, and you guys are doing a fantastic job of having this life. Yep. And Nick is what I like about him is that he's on every single life, and I know he has other important things and running his own business. So that's dedication right there. Something that the other group didn't have. Sorry.
No, you're right. Proof's in the pudding, man.
Yeah, so Teddy One says this has been a very productive show. Thank you, Nick. I agree. I appreciate you, Nick,
I think
joining us.
I think it's safe to say, gentlemen, that every time we do a live over the last few days with Nick, I think the community is getting more versed on what the actual plan is. So, and this is important to all of us, Nick, because we get asked all the questions. We're like, we don't know, or it was all speculation. So keep at it, and those as often as we get him and the rest of the team on board to come up on an AMA with us, bring the questions and they will bring the answers. Bring the problems and I hope they bring the solutions. Or maybe you guys bring the solutions at the end of the day, which it sounds like is what the community can actually do. I think so. I like Sunny T's. I like the fact that she threw it out there. I agree with you. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I love this space. I mean, it cultivates just ideas, that go from dreams to ideas to reality, right? So it's amazing.
So Chris, I'm going to let you read your comment. So I think this is.
Oh, I didn't put it to Sunny T. We were talking about her idea and everything, but I truly believe this. I think it's time this community starts working to help each other instead of tearing down. We can make this if we stand together. I really truly believe that. And, this is no FUD or anything like that. I legitimately feel we are set up in a position now. You vote the way you want to, but if we have grievances or we have issues that we think are going to hurt the community, we have people in place that will listen and thoroughly think it through and either explain to us why it has to be that way or make the change to make it right. That's my soapbox.
It's good, man. I agree with you as always.
Couldn't agree more. Crypto Tejano says, thank you, Nick. Things are going in the right direction.
Thank you.
Yep, so it seems like the sentiment is positive for sure. Sentiment
All right.
is positive.
If nobody has any other questions, I think Nick, I'm excited about the voting starting. I'm excited about the doc that you're going to put out, and honestly, do you sleep? Do you? Well, I guess it's late where I'm at, so I guess it doesn't really mean to you. But you said the other day that you're going to be up till 5 a.m.
Yeah, like right now, I need to go grab dinner because my family is waiting for us for that. But after that, I'll work on this, and yeah, I'll sleep my 2 to 3 hours. And be good.
Well, I didn't know that your family's waiting on us now, but I appreciate you sacrificing your time with your family. It's very important. I know.
All right. So
It seems like everybody's reading something somewhere. Someone's like intently looking at their screen.
You had a comment up there about Elon earlier. So if there's not a whole lot,
someone
I'd
made
like
a
to end on
comment
that
here,
note
Jacko.
and give you a funny anecdote about that. So on my Twitter, I was getting nonstop bra ads. Okay, nonstop, like incessantly. So one day I just tweeted and I tagged Elon and said, "Please, for the love of God, no more bra ads, Elon." And he replied back, "So you're saying you don't want any more bra ads, you know?" And I had the Elon effect. Like for 4 days, non-stop, my Twitter went nuts, you know. It was very funny.
So it's like,
So
you're saying
reply
you don't
back,
want any
well,
more? Like,
You should reply back, you know, hey, did you hear about this blockchain we're doing?
Yeah.
You know?
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I hear of him. I know he's a busy guy, obviously. You know, can you imagine the just his schedule, right? But he obviously he's like he finds time to he'll find time to tweet or X, whatever you want to call it now. Well, yeah, it's his company now, but I like how he actually engages with his you know the people, I guess, you know, those that are using his products. It's amazing, you know.
That's the way of the modern leader. If you are not directly engaging with your customers, you're missing out on a huge opportunity to, first of all, you know, understand, and second, to market. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. This is a business, right? It's about marketing also. So you do that, and it's good. It's good for the business overall.
It is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Awesome.
Good deal. Well, Nick, we appreciate you joining us tonight. We don't want to keep you from your family. You know, you're more than welcome to stay and hang out with us, but I'm pretty sure they want you with them.
Yeah,
So
I do
wanna
want
make
to
sure,
I do want
you
to
know,
work on the model also, and then get the vote out. So I have to get those
Right.
things going. The sooner I do that, the better it is. So yeah.
Yeah. So again, you know, you're always welcome anytime to come in and share what your thoughts are and plans. And, you know, we definitely appreciate that. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you. I will not refuse an invitation. If I'm available, I will hop on, because like I want to talk to people. You know, I want to communicate, because the more I have my fingers and my brain on the pulse of the community, the better leader I can be. So thank you.
I can't believe you brought
So
that up.
you've got one last
Thanks,
question,
Nick.
and Jacko says not to put you on the spot. Okay. But he says, Trump or Biden?
Not Trump.
Well,
You
in that
didn't
case,
say Biden.
Bye.
Yeah.
not Trump.
Take care, Nick.
All right. See ya. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you.
Bye to Nick. Bye to Nick.
So, I mean, that was awesome.
Was good,
That was
man.
great to have Nick on. You know, really good. He's making the rounds, man. I can't thank him enough. for
Three
that.
shows today. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you
Man,
can't-
way more than you seen the other guy.
And he
Well,
also
and-
has
and
No.
to be
Fowler,
honest-
we've seen way too much of that guy.
well, to be
That's
honest,
true.
we only saw him when there was a problem.
Or when he bought something.
No, it was like he would do AMAs that were all like sales pitches, but
Yeah.
then he would go on like Daniels or go on. I don't think he ever went on anyone. I can't remember whatever one he went on.
Yeah.
But he'd go on Daniels, and it would be pretty much,
this is why this
there's
is
a
the greatest
problem, or
thing.
people
There's
are
a
upset
problem.
about something.
Yeah, you're right. So it's complete.
And he'd pretty much dump his problem right on Daniel, and Daniel would be like trying to moderate it. And
yeah, that's not fair to it's not fair that well, I'd say it's not fair. It is what it is. It's definitely night and day compared to this. So I hope it continues this way. It seems like it will be. This is the pattern. So
Jocko's like, I got to leave the community now.
Right.
Brother, how do you think I feel? Hey, but at the end of the day,
didn't say Biden. He just said not Trump.
Yeah, not Trump.
Not Trump.
I mean, he's from Silicon Valley. It makes sense. I get it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, this guy's an educated man. He's probably got his positions and everything like that. So he's probably not one of the people that's just like, oh, just because of this or that. There's reasons,
He has his reasons. One thing I do know is that most of those, even my, I would say my closest conservative friends that wouldn't vote for Trump, and one of the reasons is because they said I've been all over the world. I've seen different governments, different countries, different walks of life, different cultures, and trust me, there's better. They would call him the lesser of two evils, so they know what I don't.
Shadow X says it best.
Yeah, they both suck, man. Well, okay, this isn't that. We're not gonna do this to Mela, man. What's up, Mela?
Hey,
I want to know about what
my thoughts and opinions. It's all good.
I want to know where you're. So I DM me, man, where your location is, if you don't mind, man, and not your location, but your wine plate, your wine bar, man. Yeah.
I'll look you up.
I plan on going up to Dallas next month. In October. I'm going to a friend of mine's wedding. His son's getting married, so I want to swing by, man, when I'm out there. So
cool.
Maybe we'll take him there to celebrate. That'd be a good idea, right? There you go. Bring some business, man.
That'd be great.
There you go. All right, I got nothing else. If you guys ain't got it, Mela, you got something you want to do?
I think we're done. I was gonna do the game, but I mean, Nick just brought it.
Yeah, 2.5 hours. Well, I mean, what we were on about half an hour before he started, so he was here 2.5 hours, 2 hours, right?
Yeah, he was here for 2 hours. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna do the game tonight, but it was great having him on. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the vote. Hopefully, the rest of you are out there as well. And Kryptonian, Compton, Fowler, Chris, appreciate you guys being on with me as well, and to Chris and Fowler for getting Nick to come on tonight. So yeah, this was awesome. Great show. Great show.
Yeah, as I said, you don't know this, Mela, but I always say this is my favorite show this time of the day because I get to listen to you guys. I rarely get to jump on, but I rushed home to jump on, and Chris, graciously sent me the link. I had to ask him a couple of times, but he finally sent it to me. But it's great being here, man.
For God's sakes, dude.
I feel Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays I got to deal with this, Mela. 3 days a week, bro. No, but it's, man. I knew that if Nick was going to be on your show, it was going to be good, man. Substantive, good questions. It was going to. You don't even have to moderate this thing. You know what I mean? I mean, the guy's just he's just knocking him. He's swinging at every pitch thrown at him, man. And I love
Absolutely.
that. And I knew that this would be a good panel for that. So it was good stuff, guys. Hopefully the community is ready for the next one, because the next one should be with some of the brew guys. I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh yeah. I'm making sure I
It's
take some time
tomorrow
to
night
watch that.
at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've already got it scheduled and ready. So
Push it.
All righty, gentlemen. Well, thanks everyone for joining tonight. I hope you've been well informed on what occurred in the last couple of hours and a half. And next week we'll be back to our regular programming, or maybe some more updates from Nick and things that are going on with the blockchain. So thanks everyone for joining, and until next time, we're out.